The platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, and I couldn't agree more with the comment on the bottom of your screen there on the right-hand side of the screen. Yes, we are back in business, ladies and gentlemen, and it's a Monday night for the ages. First up, we're off to MotorLand Aragon in Spain as season 26 gets underway with Formula Renault 3.5 in the wings and slicks slot. And then, of course, we're on to the boot circuit at the Watkins Glen International Circuit up there in upstate New York for round one of Waste Options GT3. And our coverage will be from the Pro Split for you this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hello once more. Zach Cape and Adam Lavis with you. Welcome back to the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Here we go again. Season 26, term 3 of 2026, night 1, week 1. Let's have at it. There's the lay of the land. That is the MotorLand Aragon circuit. We'll get to that in just a moment because that server is imminently going to switch over into race trim. Cars are going to be lining up on the grid, and with that we can bring you updated weather conditions. 7 different championships will be broadcast by us throughout the course of the next 10 weeks. 40 nights of broadcast, a smorgasbord of racing, plenty of excitement, plenty of entertainment, going to keep us well and truly on our toes every step of the way. 46 different venues will feature in broadcast this term across 15 different countries and 5 continents, if you don't mind. Weather, 2:50 in the afternoon local server time, 22 kilometre an hour winds, 195 degrees, so that's what, south tending southwesterly, and 24 degrees the ambient, 42 on track, partly cloudy conditions, but so far it is dry as we're ready to rock and roll once more. This is Formula Renault 3.5, replacing, of course, Formula 3, which we had in this slot last term, which was dominated by Aidan Cale. Another Aidan Luthwaite on pole position for the opening night of the season. Stephen Bull, and then Josh Nowak from row number 2. You'll notice a couple of new names term on term here, ladies and gentlemen. Nowak is one of those. Doug Gowans is alongside him, one of the AOWN regulars. Cameron Dance, Mitch Noble from row 3. Alex DeZickis, Adam Funslow from 4. Travis has a party, normally in race control. Good to see him actually out in the circuit, out in the cockpit. And then Luke Brooker alongside him make up row number 5. Row 6, David Baz, Maverick Benson. Row 7, Adam Proctor, Guy Leach. Row 8, Thomas Sinner and Liam Amos. Row 9, Jacob McIntyre, John Simpson. Row 10, Nathan Harvey and Jolan Hanson. Row 11, John Baldwin and Martin Lipsky. Row 12, Martin Davis and Greg Heaney. Row 13, Brett Bradbury and Eduardo Zamora. Mark Cochran, Patrick Savina and Jared Crosby make up the field. They just keep on coming, ladies and gentlemen. A stacked grid tonight to get the new term underway. Welcome to you, Adam Lavis. Here we go again, mate. The break's never long enough, but a big turnout for a car that's not the easiest to get your head around or handle. This is going to keep these guys on their toes.
Yeah, it's got plenty of horsepower. It's very easy to lose the rear in this beast, but it's also got plenty of downforce and grip. So you got to find that fine line and ride the lightning.
I'll get to a little bit of information regarding the circuit itself and these cars in just a moment, ladies and gentlemen. In the meanwhile, here we go. The new term is underway on the platform for the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Open wheeler Monday night. Let's have at it. Contact off the start. Already drama as they head towards the first corner. Can we get through cleanly? A lot of cars taking to the AstroTurf, the runoff area. No, trouble at the back. Big shunt. 2 cars off. One of which is Brett Bradbury, the other is John Baldwin. Cameron Dance started from pit road as well, which means that Kevin Wakefield has started from the back of the grid despite not setting a qualifying time, and he's already up 4 spots as a result as well. And we make our way through on the first lap. Great start from Stephen Bull to pip Aidan Luthwaite. Barely inseparable, these two in qualifying. Aidan Luthwaite tucks in behind and follows Stephen Bull out towards the back of the circuit for the first time. More commonly associated with MotoGP, of course, this circuit, but it does have a 4-wheel configuration. You'll notice that they head down further down the back straight than what MotoGP does, to a hairpin with a chicane that'll bring them back around onto the main straight. First opened in 2009, this circuit. Some dive bombs already. Eduardo Zamora moving up into 19th spot. And I'm happy to tell you that we have 18 turns to play with here. The lap record around here in a Formula Renault 3.5, 1 minute 41.376 in the real world, of course. Let's see if we can get anywhere near that in the sim world. Down the back straight for the first time. Divingly hot track conditions here. We already mentioned in the 40s. You've got John Baldwin and Brett Bradbury already with a mechanical meatball flag next to their name. And Cameron Dance has already, of course, started from pit road, but that doesn't count. as his compulsory transit of the lane throughout the course of this 30-minute feature tonight. We'll have a look at the calendar and a few other bits and pieces, odds and sods, as we go. But in the meanwhile, let's have a look at this. On the inside, Johnny Simpson has been relegated to 14th because Liam Amos is down on his inside. Travis Azzopardi's also got by Martin Lipsky at the same time. Joel Hansen and Nathan Harvey are next in the pack. Have a look at them all make their way through. Pit lane busy already. Jacob McIntyre becomes the fourth driver to transit the lane. And we've also got, Alex Tzikis is off, and also with him was Mitch Noble. Jacob McIntyre went in for a fast repair, as did Thomas Sinner. And I'm not sure they'll be able to get through the remainder of the 30 minutes here, Adam, without transiting the lane again.
I believe there'll be a stop in this race for the 30-minute races. I think the sprints are flag to flag, but I believe the 30-minute races will have a pit stop.
Well, that's what I was reading on the regulation sheet earlier in the day. I was trying to brush up on some of the knowledge, some of the lingo, because it's been 2 weeks and I've done nothing in the way of sim racing commentary since June 24. It's hard to. It's interesting to contemplate whether or not I actually still know what the bloody hell I'm doing. So we'll find out over the course of the next 3 hours, and we'll find out together, ladies and gentlemen. Big night of sport, huge night, in fact. As soon as we're done here, go and switch on Channel 9 and watch all the action from Wimbledon. Alex de Minaur, his fourth round match due 10 o'clock tonight, Eastern Standard Time. Doug Gowan's down on the inside, goes to third. Then locks it up and spins back.
Yeah, you got the inside. You got the inside Kirby hip hops there. Got the car unsettled, and as he was starting to rotate, he got a helping hand. So, a bit unfortunate there.
Just as he was looking good for moving up in the third spot, he's been relegated and now under pressure from the Flash Graphics entry that was up there on the outside. I think it was a Flash Graphics entry. Yes, it was. It was Johnny Simpson up into 11th. Gowans comes to pit lane, so does Cameron Dance. So they obviously think they're in the window already at the end of lap 2. What are we time-wise? 1 minute 45. So 1 minute 45 and 2 is 3:30. Give it 3:30 and 2 is 7. So that's 4 laps, 7 minutes. 7 fours are 28. 4 fours are 16. 16, 7, probably 18 laps you're looking at tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Probably 18 laps, which means they'd have to get 16 laps out of this stint. That was just messy at turn 1 on the Disruptive Labs replay for the first time this season. Always a problem when you're taking that many cars into that tighter corner. And even the bike struggled to get through there without incident. Greg Heaney already messed up. Involved in some carnage. And this was what happened to Mitch Noble. Yeah.
So he lost it, and Tzikis was going to do the same thing but saved it.
And good evasive action in the process of saving it as well from Alex Tzikis, it's important to note. Well done. But yeah, it's almost the right time for me to say Renault's doing Porsche things. The rear end very, very squirrely. Especially under braking and in cornering at the moment. As another example.
Under power, this thing is you'll be very, very good with your throttle control in this car. It's one of its key traits.
Don't forget, as soon as we're done here, off to Watkins Glen, Pro Split GT3. Doug Gowans, this was his moment that you saw live. Yep, as Adam said, caught that ripple strip, smashed it actually. And that lifted the rear of the car up, and it didn't like it on the landing. It spat him out the other side onto the grass. Jacob McIntyre also. Turn 1 claims yet another victim. And he puts on a little burnout show for the audience down there. Aidan Cale, the defending champion in our Wings and Slicks offering. It was Formula 3. It's now Formula Renault 3.5. This is Stephen Bull doing Stephen Bull things. He loves these style of race cars, doesn't he?
Who would have thought you'd see an open wheel race Stephen Bull near the front?
Yeah, exactly. And for what it's worth, I reckon he's probably got Friday night penciled in the diary as well. I get this feeling that we'll see him on Friday night in the IndyCar series. That's the big news, term on term. IndyCar back, and we're back live on a Friday night for you as well, right around Australia and indeed the world of the platforms of GSRC. I've got a whole rotating list of different producers and directors for this term, ladies and gentlemen. Adam Lavis back on a Monday night for the moment. Luke Brooker down there on the inside. Daniel Stewart liking the stream, tuning in. Good evening to you. Have a look at this. Brooker under pressure here. He's got Tzidakis and Proctor for company.
I have to double check. I'm pretty sure this thing has DRS and a limited number of presses per race. So I think that's what gave Luke. It's not quite. It's DRS rather than push to pass. It's push to pass rules with the DRS system. And I think I heard rumours there's only 8 tries per race. So they've got to really pick the times when they want to eat their chocolates. If that is the case.
Copy that. Either that, or if that isn't the case, then the tow's just extremely effective.
The other thing too,
extremely strong.
I'm pretty sure last time we were in this car, if it did have DRS, there was a car in iRacing. It had DRS, but they hadn't actually animated the wing, so you can actually see it working.
Yes.
So I'm not sure if this is the case here. We'll have to wait and see.
We will indeed. Keep an eye on that, folks. We'll try and stay across that as best we can. Wednesday night at the moment, Adam Lavis is here this week. Andrew Neal will pick up the freight next week. Then Matt Schmidtke here on a Thursday night. We'll tag team with Andrew Neal when he's available to be here. And Joe Baldwin, Trucker Joe's back on a Friday night. We're looking forward to that as well. Good evening to Bobby. Hello to El Presidente, although I'm not sure I can use that tag in relation to Josh Suno after this week. We'll find out. He'll be present for IndyCar and looking forward to that. And IndyCar is hopefully a mainstay, according to Abe Kale. We're looking forward to IndyCar being back on Friday night. So yes, a lot to be excited about here. Here's David Baz down on the inside now. Geez, Josh Nowak's been under the pump from the start, from the outset, hasn't he? He's holding his own very nicely. Baz around the outside. Look who's going with him. Adam Bonslow, 2 for the price of 1. Through they go. Nowak back to 5th. He's been in the thick of it from the start. First had to see off the thread of Dougie Gowans, but was unable to see off the thread of these two. Funslow through, and 2 for the price of 1 for Funslow. So it was unfortunate for Nowak. He lost 2 spots. Then, of course, Funslow's gained 2, and poor old David Baz still has a car in front of him blocking the free run, the clear air at this point in time. Pit stops will play a part here, folks. That's what I was sitting here trying to work out what I was trying to relay to the audience at home. Yeah, sprint, no compulsory pit stop. You were right about that. 30-minute race, 1 CPS. 45-minute race, 2 CPS. So same rules as Formula 3. Again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We've changed the car. Everything else remains pretty much the same. Obviously a different looking schedule, but the same number of races. So we'll have a look at that shortly and let you know where the sprint rounds are, and of course where the normal 30-minute races are, and where that 45-minute finale is going to be on Monday, September 7th. This term goes all the way through to one of the headline acts of the GSRC calendar, the GSRC Indianapolis 500 kilometre. That will, of course, see out proceedings for Term 3 of 2026, Friday, September 11, 8:25 Eastern Standard Time. Hope you can join us for that. And, of course, there is, on that same night, the grand finale for the GT1 Civil War. A bit of news regarding that a little bit later on as well. Oh, no, trouble for David Baz. He barely hung on to it. He loses 4th spot to Josh Nowak as he makes his way back up into the main straight. Nowak bails. He goes to pit lane, and Baz breathing a sigh of relief at a Code Brown moment. Hello to you, Thorn Weggett. Yeah, mate, you're welcome to come in and have a chat to us anytime you like. But yes, I hope that it's in relation to a positive race result for you at some point. You're due some luck, fair dinkum. You didn't have any luck at all, really, in the good department. You had plenty of bad luck last term. Hopefully no more airborne Formula V moments for you. And that's the best thing of the lot, ladies and gentlemen. Formula V back. So like Aiden Carr wanting IndyCar to be a mainstay, Formula V is fast becoming a mainstay on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, and we're looking forward to that. 11 minutes gone here, just like that. Our first seizure moment of the season. As we go Blinky Billy. Hopefully only temporarily. With apologies to anyone that might actually be susceptible to seizures of the epileptic sort. For the pictures coming in at the moment, not much we can do about that. Bear with us. back straight again. Stephen Bull, Aidan Luthwaite, Adam Funslow. Have a look at the margin, right? Bull and Luthwaite have picked up exactly where Cale and Sagassa left off. The margin between them and the rest of the pack after 7 laps is in excess of 8 seconds, pushing 9 seconds, in fact, and Bull's within striking distance of Luthwaite. So that's been a change. Luthwaite has gone to the lead. Stephen Bull has dropped back into second spot. Up onto the main straight we go again. Black flag for Josh Nowak. So that'll be on pit lane exit, I would say, for him. And Nowak's got a drive-through penalty coming his way. 12 and a half minutes gone. I say we're looking for about 18 laps. 4 by 1 minute 45. So shaves the 15 seconds a lap. 7, 14, 21, 28, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 28 minutes, 29. Actually, you know what? I said 18. It's probably more pushing towards 17 because of the pit lane transit, I would imagine. And Charlie Croker, seems like the CPU is exploding. Yeah, hopefully not. That would be a horrible way to start the season. And to think we've just given all the technology, all the equipment, all the gear, all the personnel 2 weeks off to recoup, reset. Not how we wanted to start the season. It looks as though it's coming good for the moment, though. Martin Davis there on 11 spots. Sorry, I got caught out by my own mathematics there earlier because I'm a bit rusty after 2 weeks off, and I told you maths wasn't never my strong point, and I stand by that claim. Whether you believe me or not, Martin Davis in the thick of it here, trying to fend off Eduardo Zamora and trying to go out in pursuit of Nathan Harvey. And behind them is Liam Amos. Davis just dropped off momentarily and then back in, so he's having a blinky bill moment of his own. And we're almost at half race distance. So, yeah, 1 minute 43.358. So, again, just to try and make the maths of it work, I'm rounding it back to 1 minute 45. 1 minute 45 and 2 is 3:30. And 3:32 is 7. 7.4 is a 28. 4 times 4 is 16. 17 gets you to 29.45 or in that vicinity. With the 15-second transit of the lane, plus the stop, I dare say, yeah, I dare say that we will flag this at 17 laps, not 18. My apologies. I just wanted to go back and correct that for my own benefit rather than anybody else's. Mark Cochran in a livery that Damon Hill made famous on a chaotic day at Spa back in 1998. And, of course, the livery that Ralph Schumacher debuted in 1997 in Formula One as well. I don't have an ident on that driver at the moment, so apologies for that. Dougie Gowans again, second one for Dougie. And that's the other fun part of tonight too, ladies and gentlemen, as you will have already worked out. With the new season comes new drivers, comes a bit of team change, comes new liveries. So just work with us as we work out who's who in the jungle once more, or in the zoo. Plenty of pit stops have already played out. Martin Davis sitting down there in 11th at the moment. Top 12, all the way down to Grant Heaney yet to stop, and so too Mark Cochran. Everybody else has stopped so far, although the rate of attrition here, oh boy. I'm pleased to say that 28 of the 30 that started are still out there. John Baldwin's parked up, Mitch Noble's parked up, they're the only 2 retirements so far. McIntyre comes back out after a second stop. Gowans and Sinner have been in twice as well. Here is Adam Funslow on the inside. Thank you. Down on the inside, gets by David Babs, moves up onto the... oh, no, trouble. Trouble. There was contact there. Baz has locked it up, gone round, and he got collected on the way through from Alex Tzikis, who's bailed off, exit stage left, straight to pit lane. That'll be to collect a fast repair. Baz is going to have to crawl it up the hill and go and get a pit stop done himself. Let's have a look at this. Baz went on his own accord. Bang, Wooshka. Oh! He was in the middle of saving it, and Tzikis has cleaned him up. Let's go on board with Alex. Let's have a look at this. 3, 2, 1, bang! Nothing he could have done about that. How lucky they both are that they're in the vicinity of the pit lane. They can go in, and it's a minimal loss on the time front of both of them. More so for David Baz, obviously trying to limp a wounded car home, but Tzikis He barely washed off any speed at all. Straight in, fast repair, back out. 10th spot for him at the moment. The top 10 berth still well and truly up for grabs. Aidan Luthwaite leads. Stephen Bull, Adam Funslow, Luke Brooker, Adam Proctor and John Simpson the top 6 at the moment at the MotorLand Aragon circuit. We're on lap 10. We're past half race distance. By gee, it's good to be back, and there's a lot going on out there to keep it lively and interesting for both you and us, ladies and gentlemen. Oh boy, it's nice to be back in the groove. Normal programming resumes on what is, as I said earlier, a massive Monday night of sport. Updates from the Boomers a little bit later on, updates from Wimbledon later on, and of course a full night of GT3 from Watkins, Glen as well. So a lot to look forward to. Hope you'll stay with us for the ride over the course of the next 2.5 to 3 hours. We're hopefully getting you out of here somewhere around 10:30 so you can go and watch Alex de Minaur at Wimbledon as we pick up Aidan Luthwaite, who's the race leader at the moment, but Stephen Bull is pushing him every step of the way. And if we get more racing like this throughout the course of the season, we won't be disappointed. This, I think we're trying to show you. We're not going to be able to.
Yeah, unfortunately the pass was during the computer seizure.
Yeah. So we're not going to be able to show you how Aidan Luthwaite got by on Stephen Bull, but suffice to say it was down on the back straight. So again, making use of that enormous slipstream benefit that you get down there at this point. Luthwaite leads. I reckon it's a fair chance of being decided on pit lane here, Adam. These two, they're both pretty well versed in their open wheel racing, but also in their pit stop craft as well. So whoever's on their toes the best, I dare say Reaps Reward comes back out onto the circuit as the race leader. But that might not be the end of the narrative.
But yeah, I think in the past we've seen both of these two have mishaps with their pit strategy. So we're going to see if they can keep on top of it today and maximise and keep the positions.
Alex Tzikas, nice get out of jail free card almost for him, in the sense that he's still sitting there in 10th at the moment. He's down 3 spots on where he started, but there's 9 blokes ahead of him that haven't stopped yet. And he's only 16, 17 seconds away from Johnny Simpson, who, well, depending upon what the pit transit is, I reckon he's a chance of pipping Simpson there.
Looks like about 20 to 25 seconds.
Okay, so it's not much. There's not much in that. And the stationary times have been 7-8 seconds for the most part, 5 seconds for a couple. Guy Leach and Travis has a party. Who would be hoping that they haven't sold themselves short, but they did also stop on laps 8 and 4 respectively. Different horses for courses here. Here we go. Stephen Bull, Texaco, Havilah. Doesn't that take you back? And through the right-hander. Or a left-hander. Great circuit this. One of, you know how we've got a lot of drivers around here that were very vocal in their criticism for too many MotoGP circuits being on the tour at the end of Turn 1. A lot of them said, no more MotoGP tracks, please. Well, this is one of them that I don't actually mind. It does go all right as a 4-wheel circuit, and I know you've enjoyed racing around here over the past couple of years since it's been in iRacing circulation, Adam.
Oh yeah, it's a fantastic fun circuit to drive. I was just watching this onboard here. I was trying to work out why this onboard makes the car look so naked. I realised it's because there's no halo. It's the pre-halo era.
It is indeed. That's a good pickup, actually. I'm not sure when those upgrades are coming to iRacing.
Well, I don't think this car's still in the real world, so I doubt it'll get the upgrade.
Yeah, that's it. Yep. Round they come onto the main straight. Not looking left to pit lane this time by. 12 laps gone, 21 minutes gone. And yes, that'll be 5 laps to go. Maybe there's an outside chance that they do sneak in that 6th. Whoa! Lap traffic, barely. They nearly collected him on the way through. That would have been collateral. So, already some wounded warriors out there tonight. I mean, Martin Lipsky's 2 laps down. Jarrett Crosby is 2 laps down now as well. That was the back marker in question there. Adam Proctor and John Simpson have just come to pit lane. Still 7 cars yet to stop. And obviously still only the 2 retirements. So, points to everybody that's persevered with it. There are points up for grabs for everybody in this race tonight. We mentioned that at the beginning of last term. That was one of the significant term-on-term changes, term 1 to term 2, that every position pays points now. It's no longer just a top 25 situation. There goes Maverick Benson. Benson's been passed by Martin Davis. Benson drops to 6th. Martin Davis plus 18 at the moment. What a charge from him. McIntyre off the road momentarily as well. As a party, 14th, chases David Baz. So Baz, it'll be interesting to see what the damage was, how much time he lost on that incident. Far more than Alex Tzikis, obviously, but relative to everybody else, we'll get a fair reflection of just how costly that's going to be overall once the pit lane cycle has completed. Now, Aidan Luthwaite has pitted, but Stephen Bull has stayed out. So Luthwaite zigs, Bull zags.
Yeah, I think.
So the undercut and the overcut are alive and well here.
Yeah, I think David Baz got lucky twofold with that incident. Like, not only was he close to the pit lane so he could minimise the damage, but the fact that he had one of his rear wheels ripped off and he actually still managed to have enough drive to get up the hill to the pit lane was very lucky. In fact, because normally with a lot of these cars, with the way some of these diffs work, once you lose one of the wheels, it's a bit hard to get the drive into the other wheel if you lose any traction. So he's done well to get that back to the lane and maintain a potential top 10 here once the pit cycle finishes out.
He's done remarkably well. Good pickup, actually. I didn't even see the wheel part coming into the car. Maverick Benson, Martin Davis to pit lane. Funslow and Brooker have also come in on at the end of lap 13. Harvey has continued on like Stephen Bull. So I think, trouble! Gone again, David Baz. Turn 17, a real trip-up point for him tonight. What's that age-old adage? Practice makes perfect. That's not the sort of practice he wants to be perfecting. Right there, David Baz. That just seems to be his Achilles heel. Turn 17 tonight. Adam Proctor now off the road, but gets back going. Stephen Bull and Nathan Harvey, the only two left to stop, ladies and gentlemen, and we're racing towards the checkered flag here at the MotorLand Aragon circuit. Stephen Bull has not stopped. So Aidan Luthwaite is our relative as Greg Heaney takes another excursion off the circuit. In comes Stephen Bull. Aidan Luthwaite is our relative with regards to the time threshold here. Whoa, that was a wild ride for Heaney. He was trying to go left and the cars just snapped him 90 degrees right. So I'm keeping an eye on the clock. 5 minutes 15 to go. You know what? Luthwaite's going to get us to 18. Luthwaite's just passed the line. Luthwaite has just started and he's doing 1 minute 43s. If he can maintain that pace, they get back to the line with like 2 seconds to go at him. And they'll go into overtime and do an 18th lap. So hence why there was a bit of uncertainty from me with regards to calling it 17, 18 laps. Well, again, the pace might be there through only Luthwaite and Bull, nobody else. The margin is 19 seconds, and Luthwaite's come out ahead of Bull now that Bull's completed his pit stop as well. It's only 0.92 of a second. Whoa, trouble! Now it's more! Bang! Gone! Can you believe that? Kevin Wakefield gets cleaned up by the spinning Stephen Bull, and Kevin Wakefield will be on the tow rope. That car's a write-off. He's just turned a Formula Renault 3.5 into a canoe. Or was it Martin Lipsky? No, it was Wakefield. It was Wakefield. He's parked. Watch this. 3, 2, bang!
If Stephen held the brakes, he would have been fine, but he's let go of the brakes to get on the road and it's caused the confusion.
And it's just gifted Aidan Luthwaite victory here. Luthwaite now just has to keep a clean set of heels and it's all over. Look at Kevin Wakefield. Reaction time next to... You can't blame either driver in that situation because you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. You've got a split second to choose whether you go left or right. And unfortunately, as he committed right, the spin continued for Bull. The momentum's just taken him further across the road. And that's really unlucky for both of them. John Simpson, over to 7th now. So, if all of the... I'm not sure if any of the data has been impacted by the fact that the computer had a seizure mid-broadcast. But if it's all correct, Stephen Bull, Aidan Luthwaite, exactly where they started, exactly where they finished. Adam Funslow has just gone by Stephen Bull. Bull has sustained damage. Bull has sustained damage in that incident. Not surprisingly, with Kevin Wakefield, Stephen Bull has had to come to the pit lane. Yeah. Stephen Bull is in pit lane on back-to-back laps.
Took his front nose off, so and I'm not sure Madison suspension damage as well, but yeah, he needed to come in and get that fixed, so it's going to drop him back a little bit further into the top 10 here.
So we're keeping our eyes on Aidan Luthwaite, right? That's all I want to know about now, because if he gets back to the line sub 28 minutes and 15 seconds, this will be 2 laps. And we'll have our first dose of overtime and our first night of the term. Cameron Dance back out after a third stop for him, back out in 15th spot. Biggest mover at the moment, you're looking at him. Johnny Simpson, plus 13. Sorry, biggest mover in the positive, in the forward direction. There are a couple that are minus, 14, minus 23. Not something I want to write home about, so they won't. But yes, Adam Funslow up 6 spots. Luke Brooker up 7. Geez, Funslow's bloody versatile, isn't he, Adam? I mean, you've raced alongside him, whether it's a legend car or a Formula 3 or a Renault 3.5. The guy just seems to click with these lighter cars, doesn't he?
He seems to be more commonly in the open wheelers. We've also seen him in the 86s as well. So, he just enjoys his racing, I believe. And he's slowly working his way closer and closer towards the front. So he's going to get some good podiums, wins, and a board sooner rather than later.
Can I just say, too, while he's on camera here, Aidan Luthwaite's just got by the line. I'm not sure. I don't think he saw the last lap board. I think he's going to get us home to 18 laps. I think he's going to get an extra lap out of this. So let's just keep an eye out if Barney's waving wide or not. Up onto the main straight, left, through the kink, main straight. Doesn't look like there's a white flag flying there from Barney. Let's go. 2 more to go. So hopefully that hasn't caught anybody out and they're all good on fuel. Down the inside, that's a party to 7th. Whoa, trouble. Guy Leach. I think he got partially checked up there. He balked himself. He saw that Azzopardi was a little unsettled through turn 1 and reacted accordingly. And now Azzopardi's been passed by Stephen Bull coming back through the field like a raging bull. Desperately unlucky for the fact that he has dropped all the way down to 7th. But maybe he's an outside chance of a top 5 still. He's only 2.9 seconds away from Simpson and Proctor, and now that we've got a full extra lap to come, and we'll confirm that now with Aidan Luthwaite coming up onto the start-finish straight, and he's easily going to actually get to the line before the time expires here. 9 seconds, 8 seconds, 7 seconds to go. He gets there easily. 18, let's go. One more time around on this 5.25 kilometre circuit. And Aidan Luthwaite, dominant in the opening instalment of the season. His teammate, not so lucky. And Greg Heaney may well have to make a late race detour via pit lane. In comes, Brett Bradbury was off the road momentarily there as well. A lot of these guys spaced out. Like there were competitors that are nearly 2 laps down in all of this. That is Guy Leach going back up at the 8th spot, getting by Travis Azzopardi. Stephen Bull has broken clear of Guy Leach to the tune of a second. He's only a second and a half away from Proctor at Simpson now. So if he can go like a scalded cat on his final lap here. Travis Azzopardi's in the lane. Good pick up.
He's short-fielded, I bet. He hasn't put enough fuel in. He's been caught out.
I'd imagine you're right. I'd imagine you're right. Oh, it's all gone to hell for the Whiskey Business Stable. Thank goodness for Aidan Luthwaite, eh? Flying the flag for them. Azzopardi drops out of the top 10, returns to the circuit in probably 17th or 18th position here once he gets back out onto the black stuff. Yeah, he's going to lose out to Amos and Gowans. So he drops out back to 18th. Greg Heaney's got a mechanical meatball flag. He doesn't have to clear that. He can limp it to the line. This guy's doing anything but limping. We're a minute and a half into overtime. Aidan Luthwaite's on his way to the final corner, ladies and gentlemen. He'll make his way up onto the main straight and you'll see the checkered flag to the tune of 21 seconds and climbing. Whiskey Business Racing sees off the thread of Stephen Bull and Aidan Luthwaite gets the job done in Spain. to get the season underway in Waste Options Formula Renault 3.5. Oh, yeah. Johnny Simpson's off the road. Johnny Simpson's off the road. Oh, can you believe that? Simpson's off the road. That car's done. Simpson's night finishes right with the finish line in view. Simpson will be on the tow rope and on the way home. Can you believe this? Top 5 goes begging for John Simpson, and Stephen Bull right up around the outside. Can he get around the outside of Adam Proctor? No, not yet. And then he gets checked up. He got the ripple strip and it throws him off the road into the grass, and all the hard work is undone. Bull's going to look across the line in 8th. 9th actually is David Baz, gobbles him up on the run to the line. Oh boy, it's good to be back. It's good to have him back. Blowing out the cobwebs, shaking off the dust and the rust that they've acquired over the last couple of weeks. Let's have a look at this dive bomb. Oh no, broken the suspension.
Why did the right...
Massive shunt and contact. Who was the other car that got down on the inside there?
That was Proctor.
Proctor?
Yeah.
Proctor,
Well,
yeah.
why did the right front fall off that?
I got no idea. Science, mate. Technology. Not my wheelhouse. Can't explain that to the Matrix. My God. So, Aidan Luthwaite by 21 seconds. Luke Brooker gets a podium. Alex Tzikis recovers to 4th, so no harm, no foul, that incident with David Baz. Adam Proctor in for 5th, but I reckon there's a question mark over that considering the move we've just seen on Johnny Simpson. The drive-by and then some. Guy Leach, Josh Nowak, David Baz, Stephen Bull and Maverick Benson, your top 10. You probably didn't have that on your bingo card. Martin Davis in for 11th. Cameron Dance, Nathan Harvey, Eduardo Zamora, Liam Amos, Travis Azzopardi, Thomas Sinner, Joel and Hansen, Mark Cochran and John Simpson. Wowee. Now, hang on. Actually, someone's been penalised here. Doug Gowans, I think, has been penalised. Dougie was showing 20th on my timing screen, but it looks as though he's picked up a post-race penalty. Because obviously Simpson, who crossed the line 21st, is now showing as 20th. Oh, actually, he didn't even cross the line, to be honest. He didn't even cross the line. He didn't make it. The car was destroyed halfway through the final lap. Oh, my goodness. Stephen Bull's been very kind to jump straight out of the cockpit and join us after what was a very chaotic sort of half hour. Good evening to you, Stephen. Talk us through that, the trials and tribulations of motor racing, eh?
Yeah, it was good fun. Just bought the track today, just sort of figured it out, so I was quite happy to be up the front there for most of the race at least, and did myself undone a little bit there. I didn't quite understand how the DRS worked in practice. It sort of just said use it anywhere, whenever you wanted, mid-corner if you wanted to open it up and be a bit silly, but yeah, I've just googled it now and you get about 8 uses per race, so I think I used that in about 3 laps at the start, not really realising that. Left me a bit vulnerable there, but you know, had some fun at the end there, some good battles, and apologies to Kevin, I spun in front of him and all my fault there, so come back stronger next week.
Poor old Kevin Wakefield's car turned into a canoe after contact with you, unfortunately, there, and he did all he could to try and avoid you, and unfortunately the momentum of your car just took you straight into his path. However, interesting to see you struggle with that car. I understand that you've only brought the circuit today. What about the car? How much of a relationship have you had with this car in the past?
I think I've maybe done 1-2 races in it, hardly ever touched it, so bit of a... May as well be a new car for me.
Yes, let's be honest. We're not surprised by the pace. Right? Whenever it's, you know, high downforce, open wheelers, anything in that realm, we're expecting you at the pointy end. You've proven that on far too many occasions in the past for us to suggest otherwise. But there's obviously a niche to getting this car right, getting the setup, getting the driving of it down packed, mate, because it's a very fine line that you flirt with between being right to get through the corner unscathed, or being spinning around and pirouetting and unfortunately a moving hurdle or obstacle for the oncoming traffic.
Yeah, definitely. It's the rear seems to be a bit on edge. We're thankfully on a fixed setup. I'll probably want to be putting a bit more time into the IndyCar this season. I'm not sure that's fixed as well, but I'll probably need to do my practice there regardless. So happy for that. But like you mentioned, it's a fine line between getting a great exit off the corner and facing backwards. So bit of risk versus reward there, and especially with the line start, there's a couple of attempts to be had in using your clutch and doing it properly, but I just couldn't get that consistently, and just held the brake, held the throttle at the same time, and that somehow ended up working for me. So yeah, a bit to learn with this one.
Indeed. Now, talk me through the challenges of obviously racing this on a Monday night and then turning your attention to the IndyCar on a Friday night. We're excited to have IndyCar back. We mentioned it in the call that if we're betting men, and we're not, that we'd be seeing you front and centre on a Friday night. You love your IndyCar racing. I'm looking forward to that immensely. We are broadcasting it live on our platforms from 8:30 Eastern on Friday night, and we're very excited about that. But obviously they're very different race cars, the Formula Renault and the IndyCar.
Yeah, I'd say they're complete opposites in terms of how far opposite you can get in a open wheel to open wheel comparison. The IndyCar's quite happy to get a little squirrely and get the rear end moving under power and that, whereas this one you got to avoid that wheel spin at all costs. So very different driving styles. Gonna be interesting to see how we go.
Indeed, that is the case. We're very excited about what's coming up, mate. We're looking forward to this season immensely. We know you are as well. I know you're going to be all in on the IndyCar. What are the chances of us seeing you here as a regular on a Monday night competing against Aidan Luthwaite for the championship? And let's be honest, he kept you honest tonight. He obviously avoided incident. If we can have you two duking it out at the front of the field throughout the course of the season, firstly, good luck to anybody that's competing up against you. That's number one. And number two, geez, as broadcasters, we're in for an absolute treat, as are the people tuning in at home, mate. Will we see you regularly on a Monday?
Yeah, I'm going to try. It was definitely... I think we would have had a fantastic battle if I understood how the DRS worked. I was kind of, I thought maybe I had to be behind someone to use it, and I thought we were just going to pass each other every lap when he got me. But, next time round, I think we're going to have a great battle.
Brett Bradbury just saying that he can't join the Pro-Am session for GT3 because the grid is full. So there are 60, I think that's the track capacity for the Glen. 60 lining up in GT3 Pro-Am. Hopefully there's as many in Pro. Where are we going to fit these people, Adam Lavis? Are we going to be able to delegate them in the direction of Am or Pro just for the night so that we can get them out there and get them some points, or not?
I'm not sure. This is not really something we've had to do before.
No. All right. Well, we've got about 10 minutes to try and sort that out for everybody. Stephen, let me bring this calendar up so that we can remind everybody at home where we're going with regards to Formula Renault 3.5 and get your thoughts on it. MotorLand Aragon, tick, done. See you later. Circuit to Barcelona, Catalunya next week, the historic configuration there. Then off to Monza, the Red Bull Ring, the Nürburgring, Silverstone, Jerez, then Coda, the Hungaroring, and Suzuka. This is the only circuit on the tour that hasn't hosted a Formula One Grand Prix in the past. Everything else is a Formula One familiar circuit. It'll be interesting to get everybody else's views on that, but you're the only one here at the moment that's bothered to come in and say good day to us after race one of the new campaign, mate. So I'm interested in your thoughts on that calendar. What do you like? What don't you like?
Looks pretty good. I'm not much of a Monza guy, but it makes sense to be on the calendar. As you mentioned, a very F1 looking calendar. I'm excited for Jerez. I bought the track because I like it, but it never gets raced or anything. So given I sort of thought Aragon was probably going to be the weakest pick of the calendar, it's great to see. I think it was a 30 car turnout. I thought it was going to be a bit bare and then maybe pick up in the next couple of races. So yeah, looking forward to it. Probably Monza maybe a bit of a struggle. Hungaroring, we'll have to see how these cars go. I know the open wheelers kind of have trouble following through there, but these cars seem to be doing okay. So good lineup, I reckon.
And interesting layout there, in the sense that we've got sprint racing at Circuit of Barcelona, Catalunya, but also Jerez and Cota. Obviously, Jerez and Cota are two of those circuits that you probably need to promote or give everybody incentive and reason to get the elbows out and execute some overtakes. So it'll be interesting to see if that actually turns out to be the case, and that ends up being a good call to make those two rounds a sprint format. But everything else, 30 minutes, with the exception of Suzuka, where we're going racing for 45 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of continuity there, term on term. I mean, we went racing in the Formula 3s at the Nürburgring. We went racing in Formula 3s at Suzuka as well. So very good spread of racetracks. 3 different continents. Very European heavy series. 3 stops in Spain, but 8 different countries will be visited by this tour throughout Term 3 of 2026. IndyCar, get me some quick thoughts on that, please, Stephen. I mean, St. Petersburg first stop makes sense, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great track in that car. I'm usually a little critical of some of the street circuits coming out, especially this latest NASCAR one. I'm not even gonna think about that. But I quite enjoy St. Pete. It's very fun to lap around, and I think FDL had an open there where they raced that when that came out, and that was good racing. So I think that one's going to do well.
Laz Gamez, not sure who is that. Liam Gomez by Liam Amos by any chance? I'm not sure. Laz Gamez, I'm not sure who the handle's attributable to. Maybe let us know in the next comment. But yes, thanks for having me, fellas. Enjoyed it, even though my race wasn't great. I reckon there's a few that are in sympathy and very much agreement with you on that. There were a few that went into the night very optimistic and hopeful of their chances, and then left with their tail dangling between their legs. Stephen Bull, not one of them. Not an ideal result, but I mean, that's obviously goes without saying. 2 little mistakes there ended up being very costly, mate. But well done, all things considered, and ballsy at the end there to try and get around the outside down at the end of the back straight there to try and secure a top 5 late in the piece. We knew it was on because the pace was there, just not the luck on this occasion, mate. Go well for the rest of the week. Good to catch up with you. It's been a while, and we can't wait to have you back on Friday night talking IndyCar.
Yeah, it's good, guys. I'll see you there.
All right, we've obviously got a bit of housekeeping to do, ladies and gentlemen. Joel and Hanson, Renault 3.5 was a lot of fun. Missed the rest of the comments. Sorry, mate. I'll come back to it a little bit later on. We've obviously got some stuff to sort out here, ladies and gentlemen, because we've got a Pro-Am server split that is packed at the seams, bursting rafters, etc, etc, etc. So we might jump off air and let Adam Lavis and whoever else can attend to it, see what we can do to make sure that everybody gets out there and at least gets to turn some wheels in anger, because this is always the worst part of the season for our good mate A. Lavis, because everybody that turns up that's a brush-in, that's a newbie to the server, they get lobbed straight into Pro-Am, and then he's got to then go through and work out, okay, you're going to Pro, you're staying here, you're going to Am. But at the moment, she's going to be a dog's breakfast because we've got blokes that can't even get on the grid. We're going to, it's a good sign for us to have that many people wanting to go racing on the first Monday night of July. Great run from Aidan Lewthwaite. Dominant victory here in the end by to the tune of 21 seconds. Not as dominant as you would think, considering that Stephen Bull kept him honest for pretty much the first 15 laps there. Not even the pit sequence could separate them. It was just that outlap for Stephen that brought him undone. And if they go duking it out head-to-head like that at the other 9 rounds of the championship, it's going to be must-watch entertainment for those of you tuning in right around Australia or indeed the world. The platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, we're up and away. It is night 1 of Term 3. Week 1, night 1, Term 3. The second half of the year is underway. Season 26 for this magnificent club. Wimbledon is underway as well. Kruger of the USA versus the Ukrainian Kostyuk. It is 1-1 on serve in the first set there. Alex de Minaur's up at 10 o'clock tonight. The basketball, the Boomers are in action at 8:30 as well. That's when GT3 gets underway. We'll be back with you closer to 8:30 Eastern Standard Time from Watkins, Glen in upstate New York. Waste Options GT3 Pro will be our focus tonight, but there'll be a bit of interest in Pro Am as well, given what we're hearing already. I hope you're enjoying it. It's great to be back. Aidan Luthwaite draws first blood in Waste Options Formula Renault 3.5, and we do it with thanks to Disruptive Labs, Waste Options, Trophy AI, merch.tgsrci.com, and Flash Graphics. And if you want to join in the fun and get out there in the thick of the action with all these lunatics, race.tgsrci.com is where you go for all the relevant information. Adam Lavis and I back with you on the other side of a short intermission from Watkins Glen for Waste Options GT3 main course action, Monday Night Motorsport. Stay with us. Yeah. Now, this is a sight that we like to see, ladies and gentlemen. A GT3 server bursting at the seams, packed to the rafters. Well, at least that's GT3 Pro-Am. But a substantial improvement in participation numbers right here in the GT3 Pro server, as well as we welcome you to race 1 of 14, round 1 of 10. Waste Options GT3 Pro, season 26 platforms. The Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Nice to have you company wherever you're tuning in. All around Australia, or indeed the world. Zach Cape and Adam Lavis with you this Monday night. Watkins, Glen International, upstate New York, the venue, the real estate, the playground for the next 60 minutes of competition. There it is, 5.5 kilometres around. It is a circuit steeped in rich history and tradition. Of course, the Sailing 6 Hour took place whilst we were on our mid-year break in the IMSA WeatherTech United Sports Car Championship. Big news, of course, regarding sports car racing next season. There's going to be more of it with the confirmation that the World Endurance Championship is going to grow to 9 rounds. Unfortunately, Watkins Glen not one of those stops, but it'll retain its prominent status on the IMSA United States calendar at least. 9:30 local server time here as we edge closer to the end of qualifying. We are into overtime here already. We've got plenty of new names to introduce you to throughout the course of the next 60 minutes here. And it's hopeful, we're optimistic and we're hopeful that a few of these guys will stick around and give it a crack for the entire 10-week campaign. That's often been one of the problems, hasn't it, Adam Lavis, in years gone by. As soon as the guys lower down the orders, realise that they're somewhat out of any sort of relevant contention, they go and find other ways to amuse themselves on a Monday night. Hopefully that won't be the case this term, because to start with a field of 36 bodes well for the rest of the campaign.
Yeah, well, as well as the regular new members that have joined the club over the weekend, which is what's overpacked the Pro-Am split. We had a large contingent of people joining the club and giving us like data and reasons why they should go straight to Pro Split. So that's why we're going to see a lot of new names here tonight. Is we've got a bunch of new people coming in with their resumes and want to prove themselves straight into the Pro Split. So we'll have to see if what the information they've given us it can be backed up with their performances tonight.
It's almost like we've adopted a Greg Heaney policy at Whiskey Business Racing. Let's open up the table of negotiation. Submit your job application, please. How good's that? I like it, though, that these guys have arrived. They're aware of how we rock and roll and wheel and deal around here, and they've arrived armed with the necessary evidence to support their claim. It's fantastic. So Luke Lund is the first of the new names. He's going to start on the front row. Philip Worley is another new one for Simrig's DPR. He's up there in the Chev. Yes, a Chev's on the grid on row number 2. Jake Slade, who you know from the Supercar server, he's trying his hand at GT3. Great to see him on the grid in Aston Martin. We'll have a look at that grid for you now as we've just ticked over into the race server, ladies and gentlemen. 1 hour of the race distance here tonight. Cars lining up behind the safety car. Local time, 3 p.m. And clock moving same time as it would in the real world. It's not sped up, it's not slowed down, it's just moving as it would normally. Normal time difference between the United States and Australia is 14 hours, ladies and gentlemen. The east coast of America and 17 to the west, but we're on the east coast tonight. Westerly winds tending northwesterly at 11 kilometres an hour, 30 degrees the ambient, and 51 on track. Dry conditions, 26% humidity so far, dry and not a cloud in the sky. Luke Lund alongside Harrison Denbrinker front row, Bo Cubis, Philip Worley second row, Sam Blacklock, Alex Barrell on third row, Jake Slade, Luke Page fourth row, Kyle James and Josh Morris, another new name, fifth row. Sixth row, Benny Snell's in a GT3 for the first time in far too long. Have a look at him go. Alongside him is Aidan Lutzwaite, looking to do the double on a Monday night, and they're both in a bimmer. Luke King and James McKnight on the seventh row of the grid. Nick Wood, Leo Dreyer, a South African on the grid. Glen Arnott, Dane Snadden, ninth row. Jonas Deggan and Daniel Cheney, 10th row. John Wright and Michael Voss, or Voci. I'm going to have to seek some clarification on that one. V-O-C-E, Voci, maybe. Glenn Morris, so I'm assuming he's the relation to Josh. Austin Edwards, Stephen Lawrence, Michael Whiting, Then Craig Bond, Alan Dawson. Bondy's skating on thin ice, apparently. He's not happy about a couple of things in life. Is C. Bond, the boy from Gundagai. Alan Dawson, Troy Maguire, and Jason Wilkinson make up the top 30. Vinnie Newen, Rodney Golan, Daniel Piper, Bryce Young, Matt Schmidtke, and look who's last on the grid, 36th, then lining up alongside Schmidtke. It's Jared Knight, of course. How good to have Knighty back on the grid. He made a cameo at the end of last term, hoping to make it more of a regular thing this time round. Jake Slade is back, says Daniel Snedden. Yeah, oh, God. And that's the only downside, is that Daniel Snedden's going to rehearse his comedy routine in our comment section this evening, and we'll hopefully see him out there trying to adequately drive a supercar on Wednesday night, of course. Hello, mate. Nice to have you on board. Daniel Edmonds, I thought you were the #1 driver at DPR. No, that is, of course, the driver in 4th place, Philip Worley, on this grid. No Andrew Dyson, no Ryan Jones, and no Daniel Edmonds, but we do have Philip Worley out there for DPR. How good's that? We're ready to rock and roll, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome aboard season 26 of Waste Options GT3, the signature mainstay, the staple, the cornerstone of Monday Night Motorsport on the GSRC calendar. And a field of 36 lining up to go racing, ripping and tearing around Watkins, Glen International Raceway in upstate New York. The first of 4 60-minute races on the schedule, the first of 14 for the season. Let's go to work! Great start, Luke Lund. Beats the field to turn 1. Big move down on the inside. Cubas trying to fend off Philip Worley. One down on the inside as well. We'll get to the manufacturer breakdown very, very shortly. Side by side, we've just got to get through the roller coaster uphill. Right, left, right, next to the circuit completely. And then we can spread ourselves thin and work ourselves out. Great start so far. Everybody acutely aware that this is a 60-minute race, not going to be won on the opening lap, let alone in the opening sector of the opening lap. Through they go. They've got time to ease into it and go about their business accordingly. And we make our way through that extended section of the circuit now. Out through the boot. A few different trips to Watkins Glen this turn. We'll bring a couple of the other categories here throughout the course of the campaign, and looking forward to that immensely. But tonight it's GT3's turn to rip and tear around here. 36 start, 36 still running. David Piper's lost 3 spots on the opening lap. Most of the positional gains have been 2 or 3. Jared Knight, Craig Bond both up 3, and Luke King up 2. Top 10 remain exactly where they started this contact. Blacklock. Oh boy. Barrel on the other one involved. Slade trying to get involved as well. But they're cleanly through on the opening lap. They've somehow survived. Manufacturer breakdown. There are 8 different manufacturers out there for you tonight, ladies and gentlemen. You can't see all of them on your totem pole list now, but we can tell you that there are no Acuras, no Audis, and no Mercs. Every other manufacturer represented tonight. There is even a Lambo. It's down in 35th position, being driven by Matty Schmidtke. An influx, a huge influx of Ferraris 3 wide on the run down to turn 1, lap 2. Glen Arnott being hung out to dry there in 20th spot at the moment, trying to work his way through. That guy has got down on the inside. He's trying to get by, he's trying to get by. Jonas Dagan. Jonas Dagan's got his hands full at the moment. Look at this. Here comes Bond up on the inside. Bond trying to get by on Daniel Cheney. To the last stop they go. Oh, contact on. Uh-oh. Not sure who's at fault there. Well, the door's just been firmly slammed shut on Bondi, and that's ended up very messily. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. That's a messy car park at the carousel. Let's have a look at this again. Bondi went straight down the inside. You could see that. The move was on, but was he far enough up on the inside? Oh. Now, in Bondi's defence, and only because I've got no answer to the second incident there. I can't help him out there, and it set off a chain reaction, the contact with the Whiskey Business Racing entry. The only thing I can say about the first part of that incident was there might have been a little bit of movement from the black car that was on his outside. trying to get past the car that he was immediately behind as well. Maybe not aware of just how far up on the inside Bondi was. That may have been what set off that contact. I'll keep an eye on that. I want to see it again if we get a chance. Because, yeah, there were 2 or 3 different pieces to that incident, really. And you can just see it happening. This is one of those circuits, Adam. Opening lap jitters, big field, high stakes, fast-paced, everybody closely bunched up. It's Watkins Glen, right? It's just one of those associating, contributing factors that we attribute to racing at this circuit. We expect it. Unfortunately, it's claimed a couple early.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. There's a slight little bit of overlap there and a bit of a chain reaction of events, and a few guys are in the lane, but hopefully they can get themselves back out there and give themselves some points and a result. So, but yeah, it's one of those things with racing. It can very quickly go from 0 to 0 quick smart if it's slightly out of position.
Keenan's just dripping back around now. He's on the tow road this time through. Alan Dawson back on pit road. Glen Arnott's already been there. Daniel Piper started from pit lane, it would seem. So we had 35 salute the starter, and Piper joining a little bit late. Harrison Denbrick has taken the lead meanwhile, away from Luke Lund. Bo Cubis, Philip Worley and Sam Blacklock, the top 5. Alex Barrel on his 6th, Jake Slade, Luke Page, Kyle James and Josh Morris, the top 10. Early doors, Watkins Glen. Monday night motorsport, good to be back with you on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Relatively same lap times as what we were seeing earlier, which doesn't make the mathematics of this any easier. But we do know we've got 2 compulsory transits to the lane in this race tonight. 2 compulsory splashes and dashes, pit stops. Compulsory as per regulations and the platforms of GSRC, as has been the case for such a long time here in Watkins since GT3. So 2 transits to the lane tonight throughout the course of the 60 minutes. And it is a long pit lane transit here as well. So relatively speaking, I think it's fair to say that if we're looking at the pace at the moment, and Harrison Denbrick has just done the fastest of the race, 1 minute 44.966. 1 minute 44, okay, 1 minute 45, and 2 is 3:32 is 7. 7/8 are 56. And 8/4s are 32. Probably getting 34 laps based on that rough calculation type mathematics from yours truly. Whoa, big dive down on the inside. Blacklock trying to go with Cubis, and Wall-has gone through. Really over the 3rd. Cubis back to behind the Denver. He's under pressure from Blacklock immediately, and he's barrel on as well. They're having at it early. The gloves are off, the elbows are out. This is good door-to-door racing. Cubis is bowled wide. Slade goes up in a 6th spot. Cubis back into 7th. I hope I got that right. 4 into 7. 7, 14, 21, 28, and 28 and 2 is 56. So 8 forwards, 32, 33, 34 gets you 59 and a half. We do have that threshold of about a minute 45 overtime, so we've got to carry off of 2:15. So as long as we get the... Oh, jeez. That was a rough one for Stefan Lawrence. We weren't sure whether we were going to see a hell of a lot throughout the course of this term with bump number 1 on the way. Obviously everything going swimmingly beautifully there, and the new dad's able to jump behind the wheel. Good on him. Having a little bit of me time on a Monday night. Let's go. Blacklock in behind Worley at the moment. The run down back straight. Get onto the fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 44.958. Lund, Worley, Blacklock. Slow down being served potentially further back. No. Just a Whiskey Business Racing entry looking for clear air. Aidan Luthwaite. Not running the team colours at the moment, but he's keeping good company there. He's got Luke King in behind him. He's got Josh Morris just ahead of him. Lap 5. Just like that. Dive down the inside. No, not going to work for Dane Snell. Of course, so unlucky in the Tri-Am finale at the Circuit de la Sarthe. Now trying his hand in the pro split this term. There would have been a bit of movement term on term, Adam Wavis, but I dare say you've got to go back to the books tonight and have another look around, considering the influx of people on the night that have made their way in either to M or Pro-M. You could be a very busy boy once we get off here tonight.
Possibly. I'll be more Wednesday when I go around and get stuff done, because I've got to get the... So I'm going to do a few things to get to work tomorrow, so more Wednesday when I get some time to go through it all, but yeah, it's going to be a bit of a long week trying to sort this out. It's a lot going on.
Yep. Now, Daniel Cheney cops a 10-second penalty for contact with Glen on 1-2. Now, I'm interested in that one because I think we've got to go back and have a look at that incident heading up towards the bus stop again, because that was part of all of that garbage, I'm pretty sure I'm right in saying. And there were a couple of guys that really ended up... Go for it, Adam.
Well, I'm guessing that might be... That was
the aftermath?
Well, it was Bondi and Glen that got together, not Daniel Cheney. So, not sure that.
Yeah, well, yeah, if we can have another look at it, it might have been the second part of the incident, because remember, there were two incidents. Bondi was involved in both, but exactly how heavily. Let's have a look at this again. So Bondi's there, Cheney's the one we're watching now. Did Cheney move across on Bond? Or, can we take it on board? Potentially from Cheney, is that doable? Let's just have a look there. Was there movement that... Did he move into Bondi's line here? You probably need to go the rear view. Or hard to say from that angle. But you could see that he got checked up by the car in front getting on the anchors. That also was a contributing factor. Let's go again. Okay. Oh.
So unless race control's deemed that G's fault, and then it's a contact, he swiped the back of WnS car on the way through. That's maybe how that's being looked at.
Yep, copy that. Fleetsy, it's very rare anyone tells me to turn the commentary volume up. But if that's what you want, then I can talk a little bit louder. That's not a problem at all. So, Harrison Dan Brink of the leader. Unable to break the toe at the moment. Luke Lund following along in very close proximity at the moment. The good news for them is they've got 2 seconds of breathing space over Worley, Blacklock, Barrelon, Slade, Cubis, Page, James, Ruthway, Morris, King and Snell. Then, have a look at this down the inside. Morris. King follows him through. He gets by Snelly. McKnight's in behind that. We have got yellow and orange on our leaderboard from 4th all the way back to 17th at the moment. Leo Graham against Snap and latching on. That is a 15-car freight train in the battle for third right now. Obviously not directly in the battle for third, but they are in the tow of third. It is Philip Worley dragging that entire train of 14 along behind him at the moment. Under Den Brinker have broken clear. It's only 1.75 seconds, so Worley's keeping them honest. If he can chip away at that, Adam, if he can find a 10 to 100 there, who knows? He may be able to reel to win. And what we also don't yet know is what games these guys are playing from a strategic standpoint with regards to when they're planning to pit, whether they're planning to take tyres, what sort of fuel loads they're going to run through that second stint. So there's a lot still at stake here, but I'm actually impressed because far too often we sit here and we're critical of the fact that Monday nights can be a bit processional, especially through the first stint. Not tonight. The gloves are off. Plenty of overtaking happening out there on the racetrack. Some of it has felt the rapid race control already, but at least we're seeing good elbows out, door-to-door racing, and some positional moves that aren't being executed, A, in the last quarter of the race when it usually happens, and B, based on pit strategy and the games that go on there with the overcuts and the undercuts and the like.
Well, there's still going to be plenty of time for strategy because we've got 2 stops this race, and they only need 1.5 tanks of fuel, so it's up to them whether they do a full fuel and a short fuel, or whether they do 2 short fuels, or how they want to play the game, whether they take tyres at one stop or both, or like 2 tyres here, one, and 4 tyres, so there's plenty going on. And he still having trouble getting the grip again on this thing.
I was going to say, despite that, these cars still look more stable on the racetrack than the Formula Renault 3.5s would. There's no doubt about that. Back through the gears with Snelly. Following Luke King at the moment. Josh Morris just ahead of them, then Aidan Luthwaite holding on to a top 10 at the moment. Biggest movers so far, Michael Whiting up 6 spots. Vinnie Newen up 8. Jared Knight up 12. And Jason Wilkinson up 4 and Bryce Young up 6 positions at the moment. We've already seen Rodney Goll and Glen Arnott make their way to pit lane. Alan Dawson, the first retirement of the night. And Daniel Cheney sitting a lap down at the moment after 2 minutes and 24 seconds stationary on pit lane. So we've already got 1 retirement. 1:36 becomes 35. 14 minutes gone. 8 laps gone. Again, we're looking good for, as I said earlier, 14 goes into 56 4 so 8 falls at 32, 33, 34 laps at most, I reckon, tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Again, using that little bit of threshold that we have at the back end of the race, a minute 45 of carryover time. And the good thing about GT3 racing these days, Adam, is you don't see a hell of a lot of drop-off from these competitors. They usually find a number to stick to, and they stick in close proximity of that nominated number. It's not a regularity thing, it's just GT3 racing, that the way it rolls, the way we rock and roll. Here's Jason Wilkinson, speaking of rocking and rolling. Back down to the bus stop. Whoa! Wilkinson goes for a wild ride through the bus stop. Straight through the old part of the circuit there before the bus stop was introduced. He got some help. Escorted, I think you'll find is the right word there.
Let's look at it again, but first it looked like he was covering the inside, and as soon as the other guy went across, he went across as well, and I think he's gone across a bit too much and running himself across old mate's nose, and unfortunately ended up in the Umco, so it's a bit unfortunate for Jason.
Indeed it is. Now, we'll go around the grounds for the first time tonight as soon as the scoreboard comes back up on the screen here, courtesy of ESPN. If you have got ESPN accessibility, ladies and gentlemen, Kyle James down there has been relegated by Aidan Luthwaite. Luthwaite down on the inside, up 3 spots now, up in the 9th spot. This is that's by Kyle James. We're seeing a couple more breaks in this train right now. So first and second gone, 1.2 seconds to Philip Worley, who's got Blacklock for company. They're second clear of Alex Barrelon, who's now in a Ferrari, it's important to note. Then a second between Jake Slade and Bo Cubis, 1 car wide through the bus stop area. Luke Lyon's gone by Harrison Dembrinka. Wide there is Sammy Blacklock through the carousel. He didn't make it to the carousel. Blacklock in trouble early, drops out to 7th. So that's why we're starting to see some gaps form or appear in this freight train, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit more wide on that leaderboard than what we otherwise would have envisaged. Barrelon now 3.2 seconds behind. So oh no, hang on. Philip Worley's lost out here completely. Let's have a look at this. Oh, a contact. That'll do it. And Slade goes through on Worley as well. Worley, I think, maybe trying to redress the situation with Blacklock. And Cubis is the next car in the train. Dembrinka. Lund at Dembrinka, so Lund in the lead, Dembrinka to second, right? So that's one change. Barrelon now up in the 3rd, Slade 4th, all at the expense of Worley. Cubis has got up to 6th and Blacklock has dropped to 7th. Let's have a look at this. Lund down on the inside of Dembrinka, nicely done. And a big lunge, a big dive, and Dembrinka alert to it, well done. He goes through. Page is now 8th, James is 9th, and Luthwaite is 10th up 2 spots. And all of a sudden, you've got 3.6 seconds between 2nd and 3rd, 1 second back to Jake Slade, and then everything else is yellow and orange again. Oh boy, here we go. So Slade all of a sudden is towing 13 of them along for a good pleasure. We'll go to Wimbledon actually, because I've got that score up on my screen. Koscheck has taken the first set, the 12th seed, the Ukrainian, over Kruger. 6 games to 4. You can watch that on 9 Gem at the moment. Viewers in New South Wales, Victoria, Tasmania, the ACT and Queensland will switch over at about 9:55 to 9. And it'll be 9:55 local time in all markets. Troy Maguire rear contact. Hang on.
Guess my assessment was wrong. So it must have been Troy must have moved across the hump or something.
Yeah. So that was the penalty for the last incident you saw on screen there, on the run down to the bus stop.
Oh, Luthway might be in trouble here.
Oh no. Kyle James has been sent off the road. Well, it's been lively, Adam. It certainly hasn't been boring the first 11 laps of the season. Let's have a look at this. Troy Maguire. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, bump drafting doesn't always work.
Not when you're not directly behind the car anyway, at least.
No. Oh, dear. Now, just going around the grounds, if we can get in there for 15 seconds. Australia taking on the Philippines in the FIBA World Cup qualifier. FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifier tonight. The Boomers 33-14 over the Philippines at the moment. That was through the end of the first quarter. You can watch that on ESPN via KO or Disney Plus or Foxtel. ESPN is where you go for the action there. Wimbledon on 9 Gem, switching to 9 at 5 minutes to 10 at the local time, depending upon where you're tuning in around Australia. I'm not sure in your jurisdiction which broadcast is carrying it. If you're watching on from the United States or the United Kingdom, folks, or New Zealand, I'll do my research and be better armed with that information before Thursday night. Actually, Wednesday night, Adelaide and I are here with you for BMW M Sport Challenge and M Sport Cup action, and also, of course, the supercars. We're looking forward to that. We will have updates from State of Origin Decider on Wednesday night as well. Luke Lund leads here from Harrison Denbrick, Alex Barrelon, Ben Jake Slade, Bo Cubicent, Blackrock, Philip Worley. Right back to second spot after that incident with Blackrock earlier. Blackrock moving up into 6th spot, Page is 8th, Luthwaite, Morris 9th and 10th. Luthwaite on a charge here, up 3 spots already. There are 3 drivers in the top 10 that have gained 3 spots so far. Barrelon and Slade, the other 2. Manufacturer breakdown, McLaren, 4 Ferraris, a Ford, 2 Bimmers, an Aston and a Chev in the top 10. Philip Worley does pick up, despite redressing on Seve Blackrock there. He's still copping a 10-second invoice as Philip Worley for the unsafe rejoin of the contact there a couple of laps ago. So Blackrock, yes, it's been redressed, but there's still an invoice to pay as far as race control is concerned. And I guess that's more because they've of the positional loss for Blackrock more than anything else. In fact, it was lost out to
potentially, like the redress rule is there. It's there if reduce penalty. If it's a minor incident, then sometimes they'll get away with just the safety points instead of the actual on-track penalty. But it all depends on how race control sees the incident, whether it could have been avoided or other factors involved in that, whether it's whether they think even with the redress it's still warranted a penalty from what the action was that caused the incident.
I'm not going to lie, that's really unfortunate because...
But chances are, even if he did get a penalty, if the redress was noted, the penalty would have been reduced from whatever race control initially wanted to give.
Yeah, the other thing I'm going to say with regards, I'm not going to comment on the actual incident itself. All I'm going to say is it's a real shame that it actually occurred, because for a while there it was looking like they might have been able to reel in London Denbrinker. That chance has now fallen by the wayside, and even now, as you see, Barrelon is holding off the next chasing pack of cars. He's got 2 seconds on Slade, he's got a second and a half on Cubis, who's under assault from Blackrock and Worley as we speak, and then Luthwaite. Luthwaite now the biggest mover within the top 10 plus 4. God's the chance of Worley going for it with one and Denbrinker, and I say that selfishly because from a manufacturer versatility standpoint, here we go, pit stops underway, Slade and Blackrock in at the end of lap 13. So we're in the pit window for the first time tonight at the end of the 23-minute mark. Slade and Blackrock in. Pit stop's underway. Alan Dawson remains on pit road and has been for about 5 minutes now trying to get back out of the black stuff, but it's just not been his night. We've got Jason Wilkinson has already been in Glen already been in, Jared Knight, then Kyle James, Rodney Dolan, they've all been in already. Some of them were in the pit window, James and Knight most notably, everybody else not so. Blacklock, Slade, Edwards, Lawrence and Maguire in at the end of lap 13. The 10-second penalty now for Aiden Luthwaite for that incident with Kyle James. Given the precedent that was said earlier with the other incident, I can't say I'm surprised by that. Luthwaite with an invoice coming his way. I'll eventually get back to finishing the point that I'd started. It's been a while since we've seen, well, until, you know, some of the guys, James Scott, etc. Came that's a last time. It's been a while since we've seen a Ferrari at the pointy end. That was exciting. It's very rare that we see a Chev at the pointy end, so that's what excited me about the fact that Philip Worley was in the mix tonight. We're not going to see that play out authentically on the circuit because of the aforementioned incident. But it bodes well for the weeks ahead, Adam. We'll have a look at the calendar a little bit later on. Hugely exciting schedule here right now. With the fact that we've got 36 cars on the opening night, we've got 8 different manufacturers, we've got an influx of new hotshot contenders and competitors, and we've got a lot of them heading for pit road right now. A lot to be excited about in Waste Options GT3. Pit lane transit number 1 for Lund, Barrelon, Worley, Ruthwaite, Morris, King, McKnight, Dreyer, Snadman, Deggan.
Yeah, indeed. I was going to say a minute ago, it's very refreshing to be in the watching the Pro Split and looking at the totem tower there and actually seeing a variety of cars rather than just one overriding car. So we actually have a GT3 class for a season, so this is going to be good to watch.
Everyone down to Bondi and Young have come in. Matt Schmidtke goes back out for another lap. So we've got Dembrinka, Cubis, Page, Snell, Wood, Wright, Schmidtke and Piper all going on to their 15th lap at this stint. Everybody else has pulled the trigger at 14. But let's be honest, right? Everybody's in the window. We know, based on the fact that Dembrinka's going a 15th lap here, we know that the threshold is 15. We know that we're going only about no more than 33, 34 laps tonight. So on those numbers, on that notion, if you're looking at it from that standpoint, it's going to be tight. It's going to be exciting, but it's going to be a case of that critical lap number now is looming as potentially as early as lap 19. So this could be an ultra short second stint for a few of these guys now. Dembrinka comes to pit lane at the end of lap 15. I dare say Cubis, Page, Snowwood, etc. and so forth, right, and Schmidtke will follow. Cubis certainly has. But if we're talking only 34 laps, and, you know, I mean, it could even be 33, it depends on the pace drop-off on the circuit. We haven't seen too much variance. This is not like when we go racing in the supercars and there's a 3-second drop-off between the fast purple sector laps at the start of the stint and when you're on absolutely shot and rooted tyres at the end of the stint. There's not that variance in GT3 racing as what you get in some of the other series and servers. So you've got the top 7 on pit road at the moment, and if they maintain this pace, as I said earlier, they're very much on for as many as 34, as little as 33 laps tonight, which means if you're going 15 laps to a stint, your critical lap is the end of lap 19, because that'll give you 15 to home. It'll give you that leverage if we do go 34 to be safe, to ensure that you can still do it. You don't want to get caught out like what we saw in Formula Renault 3.5 earlier, Adam, as we suffer through another epileptic seizure. You don't want to get caught out like we did earlier, whereby the pace of the field takes it to 18 laps and you've only got enough fuel for 17.
Indeed, yeah. Sorry about this, guys. It's part of one of these new things because I've got an AMD CPU, and iRacing with the failure to get the multi-thread thing working. This is what happens when I get more than 35 cars on the server and they start moving too many positions at once during the pit stops.
So we just got to persevere with it through the pit stops, is what you're saying. Is that how I'm reading that, interpreting that?
Well, yeah. Before I've had something to do now I've got nothing else to put down, so this is where it's at.
Copy. yeah. good to see that the Daniel Stetton fan club has grown by, actually, no, I'll rephrase that. Good to see that the audience from the Snedden camp has grown by one. Daniel and Jason now tuning in. The input of Snedden has grown to 2. It's great to have your company wherever you're tuning in, all around Australia or indeed the world. Josh Morris up there in 8th spot at the moment. Slady up in 5th. Philip Worley, Menbo Cubis, Josh Morris all in behind them. But we know that Worley's got that 10-second invoice coming his way at the moment. Again, everything's provisional once we go across the line, ladies and gentlemen. There's going to be some stuff investigated after the fact. There's going to be some changes with regards to who's in what service, split and whatever else. So everything's going to be provisional until Adam Lavis has done the paperwork behind the scenes after the fact. And did you say you got work tomorrow? What time, sir?
Just my normal day, but I can't be up all night doing all this. It'll be Wednesday when I get around to actually playing around with the splits.
Oh, okay, so it's not a super early 4 a.m. alarm or anything like that?
No, just a regular morning.
Oh, good. Good. At least we can have a proper fully fledged post-race show for everybody. Aiden Lithwaite's just observed the slow down. Have a look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Lap 13, 14, 15 was that first pit window. So that means that we can go anywhere between lap 19 and 30 for that second round of pit stops. So we might see a little bit more variance there with regards to those pit transits this time through. Remember that Rodney Gollan's off sequence with everybody else as well. So when you look at the fact that he stopped at the end of lap 4, he's the next one due in, but he wouldn't want to go any earlier than lap 19 just to be on the safe side. He'd want to be able to stretch that tank as far as possible, 15 laps if he can, in order to anything's a sleep in up here, Josh. It is the sleepy state for a reason, mate. The interesting thing with all of that is, we might get a little bit more variance. Rodney Gollan's the one that I'm keeping an eye on. If he can get to 19, he should be in the window to not have to stop again. But he could also be perilously tight on fuel and close to having to give himself an invoice, an extra transit of the lane, a third stop, based on the fact that he did stop on lap 4. If he'd have got to lap 5, then he probably would have been okay. Glen Hunt's the one that's in trouble because his first stop was at the end of lap 2 after that incident at the end of lap straight. Alan Dawson, the only one that's parked up so far and done. Through 9 laps he completed. That's just over 25% of the race distance. He won't be classified tonight. Daniel Cheney is almost a lap down right now, but he has at least got back on the lead lap at the moment. Actually, no, I apologise, he has not. He is actually still a lap down to Rd-1, so that doesn't bode well for him. He's going to finish a lap down tonight. Morris under pressure here, down the inside. That's Snelly going through, and a little bit of hip and shoulder. Oh, and a lock up, a bit of drift work from Snelly. All the hard work undone. He loses 1, 2, 3 spots in the blink of an eye.
1 step forward, 3 steps back. That was unfortunate.
Like me walking home from the pub after a night on the drink. Snelly. Whoa, talk about a good save though. My goodness, how good was that? Caught it. But got to go out and do all the hard work all over again though. But that's the part that stings. That's the part that hurts. Let's have a look at it. But this was the move. Set it up on the inside. Watch the hip and shoulder here too. Got the elbows out. And then, woohoo! Got on the anchors to catch it, but sacrificed territory to Morris, Lithwaite, and Nick Wood at the same time. In fact, second look at that, I don't think there was actually contact. So I think Josh Morris got a little bit spooked, didn't he? Let's have a look. Did Morris get spooked by Snelly's presence? Did he bowl it wide based on that, or did Snelly get the elbow out?
It's a little. It's either a nudge or a neck nudge, wheel to wheel.
Yeah, but Snelly was already more than halfway past.
Yeah.
It was in the aftermath. Yeah,
it was a bit of a shoulder on the during the second phase of the overtake.
It wasn't during the process of opening the door, it was in the process of completing the transition. Yeah. Just looking ahead for you folks, and we'll do this again at the end of the broadcast. Tomorrow night, the committee's choice opener is the NASCAR trucks from Charlotte. On Wednesday night, we go to the North Course at VIR, the Junior International Raceway for the BMW Motorsport Cup. The Supercars Super Sprint is back in action from Sandown. 3 races there, Wednesday night, 8:45 Eastern. Thursday night, Formula V from the streets of Adelaide, and the Porsches from Mount Panorama. The Porsches will be the first and only 60-minute enduro of the season as Luke Wade gets down on the inside of Morris, and then Morris returns silver, or at least tries to. He's not able to finish the job. Not able to get away with the over and under. The crisscross, the switchback, it doesn't work. Luke Wade maintains 9th spot for the moment. So yeah, that's going to be exciting. Porsche Enduro, Thursday night, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, Mount Panorama. So later finish Wednesday night, later finish Thursday night. In comes Rodney Glen. He's done what he needed to do. He got to the end of lap 19. Well done. On the pit road, he goes. He's in the window now to stop now and get home. So it'll be interesting to see what sort of territory he can pull back in the process of this last stint of the race for him. So he's on the reverse strut of most of the field at this point in time. But we are at that critical number now, Adam.
And Glen, if you get a fuel save, and he might be able to stretch as well. He only pitted the lap 1 lap ago.
Correct. And a 5-second penalty for Benny Snell. Oh, righto. At race control, deeming him at fault for that incident. Well, not that it was much of an incident, and Snelly ended up copping a self-imposed invoice in all that, so that adds insult to injury for Benny. Race control, and by the way, welcome back to Lethal Lee Williamson, and he is being ruthless and lethal tonight in race control. He's the clerk, of course, out there overseeing the scenes. Friday night, now we don't have any coverage at the moment confirmed for the GT1 Civil War, the return of that to the entree slot on a Friday night, but we will be with you for the main course, which is IndyCar from the streets of St. Pete. A good 1 hour head out round there on Friday night. We're looking forward to that immensely. Adam Lavis has got it locked in for 55 laps at the moment, or 65 minutes, whichever comes first. That's Jason Wilkinson spearing off into the wall. We've seen worse. We've definitely seen worse. Oh boy. It's nice to have a lively night. It's nice to have a full-on night of action where there's that much going on, you don't know where to look, you don't have to pad, you don't have to fill, you're not sitting here struggling to stay awake because it's boring and stale. It's been anything but tonight. It has been a brilliant launch for Term 3 action on the platforms of the Gentleman's Sim Racing Club. We sincerely hope that Living Bird is running Living Bird bringing it to you, but it's not over yet, so do stay with us. Luke Page now. Whoa! Under pressure from Ben Snell and his own teammate Luke King. A couple of early stops, second time through. Jared Knight, Troy McGuire stopping now. As Adam's already mentioned, Glen as well. We can tell you that Daniel Cheney's a lap down, but he too has stopped the second time on lap 18, so he will be hoping that he's only got to go 15 laps to the checkered flag, and that might be enough for him to finish a lap down in all of this. Disappointing that any chance he had of factoring in the equation went begging on that second lap in that incident around the last stop carousel section of the circuit. Luke King, 12th. Ferrari 1, 2, 3 right now. McLaren 4. If we have a look at... Oh, here we go. Oh, Luke Lund. Luke Lund has thrown the sucker. Oh, here we go. Now, this is interesting. He's gone for the short, sharp, snappy run in the second middle stint of the race, and he's going for the long run home. But he's going to be in traffic for a good chunk of it.
That's the risk here, is he's putting himself in a danger zone. But if it works out, he might be able to get himself out of the lead group and try and surprise him a bit later on. But it is a bit of a risky strategy here. We'll see how he goes. But he's also getting tyres.
Correct. And Benny Snell's doing the same thing too. Benny Snell's come in around the same time, and Lund leaves in 13.32 seconds. Whoa, quick stop. And Snelly even less, 7.78. Hello to you, Brooksy. I'm well, mate. Good to have you tuning in as per usual. Hope you enjoyed the break. As Adam and I always say, never long enough, but by gee, it's good to be back in routine and rhythm at the same time. As much as we've enjoyed the break, we've also missed our regular programming on a Monday night. Not least a Wednesday, Thursday and Friday night as well. Round the gate with 7th at the moment, down well. So Den Brinker, Blacklock, Barrel on 1, 2, 3. And at the moment, you've got 5 different manufacturers in the top 7. Because behind the 3 Ferraris, you've got a Chev, a BMW, an Aston and a McLaren. But make it 2 BMWs now in the top 7. Aidan Lutwait down on the inside of Nick Wood. Thank you very much. Nick Wood's still the best place. McLaren in 8th. Josh Morris and Luke Page make up the top 10. 4 Ferraris in the top 10 at the moment. And the Ford of Josh Morris makes it 1 extra manufacturer than what I've already mentioned. So that's, what have we got now? That'll be 6 manufacturers in the top 10. Luke King comes into the top 10 now at the expense of Josh Morris, who goes to pit lane. And that is for his second and final pit stop of the evening. John Wright there in 14th spot. It's not just about craving the fun, good racing either, Brooksy. It's about everything else. You put the tools down and you just get too laid back and relaxed for the sake of it. I've got so much housekeeping that I probably need to catch up on as well now that the season's back in rhythm, but you just feel as though you've got the batteries are recharged, you've got more energy at your disposal, etc, etc, etc. So no, it's good. It's great to be back. It's season 26. We're going to have some fun with it, and we hope everybody else will as well. I guess the best thing for me as a sports fan over the last 2 weeks of being able to put the feet up is there's been no real structure. Oh, hang on. Black flag for Morris. Black flag for the 23rd place, Josh Morris. There you go. His chances of a top 10 finish. He was running in the top 10 prior to that stop. He's now got a pit lane drive-through penalty on the back of this indiscretion coming back out onto the racetrack.
I'm guessing he crosses the line here.
I'm going to wager that you're right.
No?
Oh, no? Okay, so what's it for? Don't tell me it's incident points.
No, it must be... No.
In comes Coach Slade. It's a strange one. There's no doubt about that.
The only thing I can think of is he may have either done a gear shift or something, or the limiter too early, and got us speeding before the end of the lane.
Schmidtke, the Lambo in the wall. And just drives away as though nothing ever happened. Have a look at him. Stephen Lawrence is in 34th at the moment. We've picked up John Wright in 13th. And he's under pressure from Leo Dreyer. In fact, he's around the outside of Leo Dreyer. And Wright's going over to 12th. Cleanly, nicely done. In behind them is, of course, Austin Edwards and Jonas Dagan. John Wright goes up into 12th. So yeah, 3 Ferraris, a Chev, 2 Bimmers, a McLaren, and a Ford. I hope I've got the maths right there when I say that's 5 different manufacturers in the 10 at the moment. We've lost one because Jake Slade's come in and completed his second stop. He was the other manufacturer in the top 10 at the time of the stop. He was running the Aston, of course, for ART Revolution E-Racing. Brooksy, of course, the main man there, chiming in the comments section tonight on YouTube. Feel free, if you're tuning in, Facebook or YouTube, to join in the fun of the fair, join in the conversation, ladies and gentlemen. Let us know how you enjoyed the break. My main comment, Adam, as I said to you off the top tonight, the best thing for me about the break, no real bedtime, no real rhythm or structure. I was able to just You know, play to my own tune and watch as much sport as I could sink my teeth into, which meant staying up till 5 o'clock this morning to watch the IndyCar, and not least that, also the FIFA World Cup in Wimbledon. It's been fantastic.
Well, while we've got Brooksy in the chat, just a quick confirmation, Brooksy. Is this pink and white livery the new colours of the Revolution Racing, or is it just a GT3 special here for slating? So I know what to do with the graphics later.
I like it. I like it. Very nicely done. It looks good too, right? Let's be honest. It does look good. Maybe there's more to it. Maybe it's just straight, maybe it's not a straightforward colour change, but there might be a special livery or a one-off.
It looks like there's a charity on a C pillar or some sort. Yeah,
I'd say so. And that's probably the reason you've got the pink there. There might be, well, usually when we're talking pink, the first thing that comes to mind if it's charity is it's usually cancer related or breast cancer related, so it might be something linked to that. Brooksy will be able to shed some light on that and give us some more intel. Because yeah, it is a particularly different look. It's not quite an overhaul the likes of what we saw in Bisky Business Racing year on year, but it is a significantly different look to what we normally would associate with the AITX Revolution E-Racing stable, the RER. Jake Slade running 19th at the moment, and actually the best place of anyone to have completed their second pit stop, with the exception of Luke Lund and Aidan Luthwaite. He was behind Lund going into the stop, but he wasn't behind, I don't think he was behind Luthwaite going into the second round of pit stops, was he? So that's a big jump from Luthwaite if that's the case. 9.85 seconds that second stop through for Aidan Luthwaite. That's a guy to watch. Keep an eye on him. Only a second and a half away from Luke Lund. Luke Lund was fighting for the lead with Harrison Den Brinker before the second round of pit stops took place. Bo Cubis now. Down the outside of him is Philip Worley. Cubis to fourth. Worley's got that invoice coming his way. Cubis having an almighty run here. 15 minutes to go. We're on lap 26. Again, looking good for as many as 34 laps here. Spin around the corner of the horseshoe. It's one of the cars that's a lap down. Troy Maguire moving out of the road there, the Fishy Motorsport stable entry. Speaking of Fishy Motorsport, David Kirby. Expect him and Michael Angus to pop up somewhere throughout the course of this term. Daniel Edmonds. Already some team banter, some friendly fire, some sledging going on. Saying hello to his friends from the Vermilion stable. I like it. I'm all for it. It would be nothing without those little inner team rivalries. Now, Slady 18th, still chasing him is Benny Snell. They've gapped the rest of the pack. They are 5.7 seconds behind Aidan Luthwaite, who's only 1.9 seconds away from Luke Lund. Lund, the best place of anyone to have stopped twice. We've completed lap 26, we're on lap 27. And we could still be on track. We could still be on track for that 34th lap at the end of the night here, folks. Touch and go as to whether or not we play overtime tonight. No Volvos out there, of course, in GT3 land, but you will have seen the news by now. Very sad news that Robbie Francevic, the 1986 Australian Touring Car champion in the mighty Volvo, but, of course, John Bowe also was at the helm of for the Bathurst 1000 that year, passed away today. Volvo's only Australian Touring Car champion. It was important to note. We got wind of that news around about lunchtime today, courtesy of Speed Cafe and V8 Sleuth and a few other outlets. He was, at the age of 84, was Robbie Francevic, the outspoken Aucklander, best known for that 86 triumph in the Volvo 240T. So thoughts are with all connected to Robbie Francevic and his family at this point in time. Now, Harrison Demrick has driven a beautiful race here. He's 6.3 seconds clear of Blacklock, who's now... Oh, no, Donald Snelly. Shuttle of Benny Snell. Big lock up. Flat spots the tyres and all. Have a look at the tyre marks he's left on the circuit. Holy moly. Second time he's had to try and catch it and save it tonight. That one took a lot longer to catch. That was a lot more costly. A lot more damaging. Lund has punched out the fastest time of the race, 1 minute 44.502. Ruth Waite, Slade, Ren Snell. Snell now 6 seconds in arrears of Slade. It's a 5.5 second moment for Benny Snell. Oh boy.
Yeah, so he's also overcooked those rears now, so he's going to be sliding and trying to keep that car in check for a little while.
Post, you could say. Bear with us, folks. We'll persevere through this. We're in that second round of pit stops now, so we can expect the Blinky Bill action to continue for the balance of the night. Although this is about as it's been for about 5 laps. Jason Wilkinson back on pit road now. That could be his final stop of the night. Or it could be a tow rope, one of the two. In fact, I think it's tow rope. Leo Dreyer is 23rd at the moment under pressure from Austin Edwards. We've picked up Luke King in 7th, and he's chasing Luke Page. 2 Whiskey Business Racing teammates having at it on a Monday night. Alex Barrelon. There we go. Have a look at this. Alex Barrelon. And Philip Worley to pit lane. So again, big variance in lap times and the decision making for those. We're not going to be able to show you a decent replay of Snelly just now, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully a little bit later in the peak.
He's done the same thing again.
Yeah. Orley Barrel on a night, all the pit roads. So again, we're seeing variance in that strategy play from everybody this time through. It was 13, 14 and 15 laps completed last time through for most people completing their pit stop. This time through, it started as early as lap 19. We're now on lap 28, and we're still, well, 29, and we're still seeing pit stops being completed through this second transit of the lane, this second round of pit stops. 9 minutes to go, and Harrison Dembrinker. Okay, so who's my threshold here? Sammy Blacklock is the first one to have stopped twice. In the running order at the moment. Just need to keep an eye out on Sammy Blacklock and when he comes back across the line. I think it's going to be 5 laps on his call. But the fact that he's come out and he's leapfrogged everybody, that's gone unnoticed until just now. Blacklock has leapfrogged everybody. And Barrelon's gone with him. They've leapfrogged one by 3-5 seconds. It's extraordinary. As long as Blacklock gets back to the line, with more than 7 minutes on the clock, we get 5 laps. We're going to. Dembrinker has gone through for another lap, so too has Page, but Cubis, Wood and King have started. Did I miss this week's GSRC Sports Update already? I'm getting to that shortly. We'll go to Wimbledon and to the basketball in a moment. Plenty happening on a Monday night, don't worry about that. I haven't gone to the FIFA World Cup yet either, but we'll get you the fixtures for tomorrow morning before we're done. But yes, there will be a sports update or two before the night is done. Okay, so lap complete for Blacklock, and we're well north of 7 minutes to go. So there are 5 laps to run, and probably 45 seconds of overtime to go with it.
Well, I guess, because I'm pretty sure one did a long stop on the first stop, and he's done a longer stop on the second stop. So, you know, those 2 tyres, whatever he's taken in the second stop, I think that's just added a bit of extra time to him. The other guys have just put some fuel in, and they've managed to leapfrog him. So now it's a matter of whether he can, in the last 7 or 8 minutes here, whether he can bring that back in.
And Sammy Blacklock, after that incident earlier in the piece as well, I mean, actually, did you pick up an invoice in any of that? He didn't he?
No, Blacklock did.
No, Blacklock didn't. It was somebody else that picked up the invoice.
Yeah, the other Worley.
Worley, thank you.
That was the EPR car.
Yeah. Because Blacklock was the beneficiary of all that data. That's right, yes. I was trying to make sense of it. I don't have the minute-by-minute analysis of all the incidents that have been logged in front of me. But yeah, Dan Brinker in, Page to follow him. This could be between Blacklock and Dan Brinker.
And Cuba's also in this jump ahead, so isn't it? So,
Absolutely.
So yeah, this second pit stop strategy from London has really backfired.
Absolutely. 13.3 seconds compared to everybody else that's in the 10s and 7s.
Unless he's at a Barney or a half spin somewhere we haven't caught, lost a bit of time, but yeah, so something's going on since that pit stop. He's lost a chunk of time for these guys, and so giving them a chance to take the win out from under him.
And speaking of which, Dan Brinker's going to lead this thing, and comfortably. So Dan Brinker, the leader, Blacklock, Barrelon. Cubis is the only one that stands in the way of Ferrari and a lockout of the podium. Have a look at the lead for Harris and Dan Brinker. It's 8 3/4 seconds. It's the length of the back straight. Have a look at that. Harris and Dan Brinker, welcome to GT3 Pro.
He's only done a 7-second stop there, so he's obviously saved some fuel somewhere, or he's got done some calculations a bit wise, because there's only like 2 or 3 other people that have done the 6 or 7-second stop. Most people have done 9 to 13, so obviously done something there to get himself up the field.
This is a magnificent breakout result about to happen for Harrison Dan Brinker, because remember, we first saw this bloke last term when we showcased trouble at the top of the hill. Aidan Luthwaite's involved and Philip Worley too. Oh dear. We'll have another look at that. Let's have a look. Worley tried to go around the outside. There's the contact. Goodbye. See you, boys. Luthwaite was... Oh, gee. Oh, no. Luthwaite was trying to get out of the road, but then bunny hopped across the ribbon strip in the grass. Dear, oh dear. All right, so we do have a result coming through from the first game of the day at Wimbledon in just a moment as well. That was the moment for Luthwaite. And then you could see that... Oh... Luthwaite obviously didn't feel as though any redress had to be done there. No fault was being attributed to him. And he was trying to go through on the inside on the grass to try and get out of his road. Ended up getting right in his road. Barrelon, in the meanwhile, is trying to fend off both Cubans. This is the final spot on the podium. Lund is only 2.4 seconds away from this pair, so if they start duking it out, Lund's still a chance of a late podium berth. We've got 3 laps to run. We're on lap 32 and 34. We're at Watkins, Glen in upstate New York. How good is it to have waste options? GT3 back on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Will go around the ground shortly. Cubis around the outside of Barrelon. Then contact at the bus stop. Couldn't get through on the inside. Barrelon back into third. Northwind Motorsport heading to the top top step of the podium the way things are going here. Sorry, heading to at least the podium, I should say, to the bottom step of the podium. Wild Ride Motorsport at the top. Logitech Orbit dropped there to the second step of the podium at this point in time, but Alex Barrelon looks as though he's going to take Northwind Motorsport to the podium. If you can see up the front at both Cubis over the final 2 laps. What a great start the term it would be for Northwind in GT3 Pro. It's interesting too, right, when we look at all the results from last term. I mentioned I didn't get to finish singing the praises of Harrison Dan Brinker. We saw that breakout result from him in round 2 at Magello last year. It was a great result. Round 2, week 2 last term, Magello, it was a 60-minute race. We showcased the Pro and Split on that occasion. He immediately got promoted up into the Pro Split. He's got a podium the week after. He hasn't been back on the podium since. So it's been a while between drinks for Harrison Dan Brinker, but he is 2 laps away from the podium and the top step thereof. Cubis, meanwhile, has got 2 laps to try and force his way by Barrelon. And Lund is looming large. He's only 1.6 away now, so he's taken 0.7, 0.8 of a second out of this pair on that last lap through. And Cubis is giving Barrelon the big hurry up. Barrelon's going to make him go the long way around. Cubis accepts the invitation. He goes the long way around to the outside. Barrelon, oh, look at that. They somehow got through. And Cubis goes to third. Cop that, he says, to Alex Barrelon. Challenge accepted. I'll go around the outside. Thank you, young man. Barrelon's now got 11.5 to go to try and get him back. Bowled it wide. Gathered it up. It's on in earnest, the battle for the final spot on that podium. Luthwaite gets a 5-second penalty for the contact on Philip Worley. So Luthwaite clocks 5 seconds. He's sitting 6th at the moment. Oh, trouble. Worley in the wall again, and this time it's terminal. Worley's not done. All on his lonesome. Whoa, Wooshka. And he will concede defeat and finish down in 33rd. Well and truly has covered the 75% race distance. White flag flies at the Glen. Lund has joined on with Barrelon and Cubis. Slade is there in 12, trying to find his way by McKnight. The chance of a top 10 finish has gone begging.
Yeah, Slade's another one.
Provisionally.
Slade's another one has sort of just fallen back in that second phase of pit stop. So a couple of guys just having a bit of a barney with the strategy here tonight.
A couple of them have to go back to the drawing board. Do some number crunching between rounds and try and get their sums right. Now, I'll go around the grounds before we get into the post-race show, folks. We'll have results from the AM split, from the Pro-Am split. We'll have a look ahead to the rest of the season. We'll have a look ahead to the rest of week 1 from our standpoint for our other 6 championships that are going to be broadcast across Facebook and YouTube. But have a look at this. Slowly under huge pressure here. Right, and Dagan couldn't get through. Right, slots into 13th. Cubis has kept Barrelon at bay, who's keeping Lund at bay. But Harrison Den Brink is a quarter of a lap from home. So, what was it? It was week 2. So, 11 weeks since his last win in GT3. Harrison Den Brinker is finally going to climb back to the top step of the summit, but this time it's not the Pro-Am split, it is the big gun split. It's the heavyweights, and Harrison Den Brinker and Wild Ride Motorsport find themselves on top with an extraordinarily convincing, dominant and impressive victory at Watkins Glen International in upstate New York in round 1 of Waste Options GT3 for term 3 of the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Blacklock a nice drive to second. Bo Cubis gets third in the end, held off Barrelon, and Lund came home with a wet sail but could only manage 5th. Luthwaite is 6th provisionally. He's going to lose that based on penalties. John Wright's 13th coming across the line. Luthwaite goes 6th, Page 7th, Nick Wood, Luke King, Dane Snad in the top 10. Geez, it's only that he doesn't like Le Mans. That's the only reason he didn't win that Pro-Am championship. Then James McKnight, Jake Sladen, John Wright back to 13th, Jonas Dagan and Kyle James 15th. Joe Knight held off Benny Snell, who held off just Leo Dre. You saw that on your screen just now. Back to Michael Whiting, Austin Edwards, Michael Vocci. Then Vinnie Ewan, Glenn Norris, Glenn Morris, Daniel Piper and Craig Bond. Bondy, an incident to forget there at the start of the second lap. Arnott, Morris and Matt Schmidtke made up the top 29. Bryce Young, Stephen Lawrence, Daniel Cheney got us back to 30th. Then all those that didn't make it home. Wilkinson will get classified at 75%. Troy Maguire, I'm not sure. I've got to crunch the numbers on that one. I think he will. He's only 7 laps off the leaders. Alan Dawson certainly will not. He only completed 9 laps. We got to 34 in the end. Oh boy. Harrison Den Brinker by 9.67 seconds in the end.
And also Jared Knight.
Statement made.
Jared Knight up from last place from not qualifying to 16th, so no bonus points, but what an effort.
Yeah, and to stay out of trouble and have a clean run. really impressive start to the season for Jared Knight. Hopefully a sign of things to come for him behind the wheel of that car. Now, just for the benefit of those of you playing along at home, the Watkins Glen International Circuit, is Harrison about to light it up and do some celebratory...
He's already done that.
He's already done them, that's all right. Just for those of you that are not familiar with the Watkins Glen Circuit, it is, of course, an FIA Grade 2 circuit. The configuration that we ran on tonight, 5.552 kilometres. We went 34 laps. We completed 188.768 kilometres of racing tonight. Now, that number, 34, we need to minus 25% off that. That gives you 25.5. So everybody that completed more than 25.5 laps is good. Jason Wilkinson, Philip Worley will get classified on 75%. And even Troy Maguire, stationary in pit lane for the last 7 laps of that race, he will be classified as well. 35 cars home on the opening night of the new term. Fantastic stuff. Really good stuff. Elbows out. Door-to-door racing. Really spirited and feisty and aggressive, particularly by GT3 standards, and someone that was out there firmly in the thick of it joins us now for a chat. Hello, Sam Blacklock.
Hello. Jeez, I'm still out of breath.
That looked like, a lot of hard work, but it also looked like a hell of a lot of fun as well. Talk us through that hour from your standpoint. Good to see you in the prancing horse, mate. The Ferrari did good tonight.
Yeah, look, I decided I might give the old GT3 a go with Spa coming up this weekend, which I still haven't actually locked in whether I'm doing that or not, but we'll see. So, decided to just jump in here, see what I can sort of do. I haven't driven a GT car for quite a while now. I think the last time was the Nürburgring 24, and I didn't even get to drive the car, unfortunately. So, definitely didn't expect to be where I was tonight. Obviously in the fight for effectively what was the lead. And, was hoping maybe save a bit of fuel and actually get amongst it. And unfortunately I had that incident there with one of the DPR cars, and sort of after that I had wheel damage. Thought the night was over, but I just pushed on, still, to collect some points, get a good result nonetheless. And I think after that I just, really sort of got in the zone, got my head down, and drove the car and the setup I had to the best of its ability. And certainly didn't expect to end up second. I was thinking maybe fourth at best. Pretty shocked. But like I said, out of breath, just, pushing that car so long, especially, not really being match fit in these cars or sim racing in general. It's sort of been a while since I've done a race. So, absolutely thrilled with second, and, can't really say much more. I'm out of breath.
I am going to have to get a couple more comments from you, mate, but I will let you catch your breath, because the race winners jumped into the booth as well to have a chat with us. On the way there, though, one more from you for the moment, and then I'll let you catch your breath for a couple of minutes while I have a chat with also Harrison Denbrinker and Jacob McIntyre, who slid into the booth as well, mate. But why the Ferrari? I'm impressed that there are 8 different manufacturers out there tonight. I'm a little bit nervous that we might see a drop-off in entries and participation based on the fact that everybody's getting some extra mileage and getting some prep done ready for Spa this weekend. I'm hoping that isn't actually the case. I'm hoping that everyone will stick around for the season, because 36 and 8 different manufacturers, that's a tremendous start to the GT3 Pro Series campaign. We didn't have enough grid slots in Pro-Am, which has resulted in an overflow into AM for this week. So GT3 racing very much alive and well, and and as you would have seen, you being one of them, a lot of new names and fresh faces in the GT3 server on the GSRC platforms.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously really, really good that we did have a mix of manufacturers. We see I know the last few seasons that I've taken part in this, it's been, one car and then a couple of other ones sort of scattered in there. So, really good to see that. And, this will be my last question, Zach, because I have to go. The Turtles make dinner, and if I don't go, you'll be the one in trouble, not me. So,
and you know what? I can cop that because I'm not there. I'm happy to be in trouble. Okay, so I will wrap it up quickly for you. If you're desperately hungry and need to go, or if you're being summoned, if we like, have you seen the GT3 calendar for this season? And if you're going to make this a regular commitment, what catches your eye most on that calendar, mate? On the screen there.
I'll just have a quick look. You did ask me before too why the Ferrari.
Yeah, so you've got 2 questions to answer and then I'll let you go. Go on.
Ferrari, just due to, I guess it's, but for me personally, I've driven the Ferrari and the Acura the most. That's like the most amount of, I guess, laps I'd say in GT cars I've done since the new tyre update and stuff like that. Obviously, Harry Lillis and myself drove the Acura and the McLaren in the GT Pro Series. So we did well in both of them, but it was, definitely a lot of Acura laps. Ferrari's just been sort of our homestay for the Nürburgring 24. And that's, like I said, the last GT3 car I've driven. So I just thought I'll keep it familiar. I don't throw myself in the deep end too much. But as for the calendar, look, VIR, haven't driven a GT car there for a long time, so that'll be a good bit of fun if I can make that. And Spa next week should be good, especially if I do the 24. Look, Red Bull Ring and Indy Road Course are probably the 2 I'm looking the most forward to. Haven't really done much at Red Bull Ring in a GT car. I think I've only really driven the supercar there, so that should be a good bit of fun. And Indy Roads got a bit of a weird association with me where I'm not really that quick there, but I really enjoy driving it. So, yeah.
So it's a work in progress is what you're saying?
Always, Zach, always.
All right, we'll let you go so that you don't get in trouble, and neither do I. Always good to chat to you, mate. If you want to thank anybody, now's the time to do so. If not, we'll catch up with you later in the week, I hope.
Yeah, I'll just give a quick shout out to the sponsors, Logitech G, Revolution Race Gear and iLiveries, and the cheeky self-plug of Sam Blacklock Media. And also, just a big congrats to the guys around me, Harrison for the win and Bo for the podium there as well. I haven't seen Bo in a long time. Yes. He was around in the V8s when I first started, so it's good to see his name come up again. And hopefully get to racing with him this season.
Hopefully so. Well done, mate. Always good to catch up. Very rare that we do it on a Monday night, normally a Wednesday night. Go well. We'll look forward to seeing much more of you on the circuit. Turtle's just saying he's all yours, boys. Keep him. So maybe we do keep... No, we'll let you go. Well done. Good to catch up. Hopefully we'll be catching up with you much more throughout the course of this season, mate. Go well.
Thanks, Zach. See you, boys.
Very, very good. He's all yours. He's all yours. Hey, Bondi's here. I want to get his thoughts on that lap 2 incident in a few moments' time. Jacob McIntyre's here. Thorn Waggett's in the house, and he only earlier in the evening was talking about whether he'd be worthy enough of a post-race interview or something there in the vicinity throughout the course of this season. Hoping and praying maybe his prayers have been answered. We'll hear from him very shortly. Firstly, around the grounds, Alex De Minaur about to take to court 1, I should say, at Wimbledon. He's on court in about 20 minutes' time for his day 8, round 4 clash up against Caboli, the 9th seed. That's 5th seed versus 9th seed, the Australian versus the Italian. We have a mixed fortune when it comes to sporting contests against the Italians. 2006 FIFA World Cup. Anybody? That's at 10 o'clock. That is live and free on 9. Or if you're in South Australia, the Northern Territory and Western Australia, it will be on 9 Gem, moving across to 9 at 9:50pm local time. The result earlier this evening out on court 2. Koscheck, the 12th seed from the Ukraine, 6-4, 6-4 over Kruger, the US player, and she is through, is Koscheck, to the quarterfinals in the women's side of the tournament, and we're looking forward to seeing what Demon can do in about 20 minutes' time. The Boomers are playing the Philippines at the moment in a World Cup qualifier. They lead in the third quarter, 52-33. That continues on ESPN. We continue our post-race show here. I've now fulfilled my obligations for the person that was asking in the comments earlier to provide a sports update. I've now ticked that box. We can press on. Harrison Dan Brinker, about 11 weeks ago, we were interviewing you as a race winner in GT3 Pro-Am at Magello. We're saying, welcome into Pro. There's your invitation. You're getting a promotion, whether you like it or not. No excuses, no discussions, no anything will be entered into, no correspondence. That's it. You're up. And 11 weeks later, you're in victory lane, mate. A very solid drive to start the season. Well done. Talk us through it.
Yeah, thank you very much. That was definitely better than I expected. I had a bit of a undue change moment early in the race. I'm happy to get away with that. Just thought I'd sit behind Luke for a while. I had to look back what happened to him as well. It's been unfortunate. It was an absolutely cracking battle. I just think, in general, I got the edge because of a tyre change and led away from there, just had the pace.
Talk us through it, because it was an interesting... We were looking at the numbers, and it felt as though a couple of the drivers around you might have got their sums wrong with regards to when they took tyres, when they took fuel, etc., because there was such a variance in second round of pit stop times, anywhere between 7 for your good self and 13 for Luke Glen. Talk us through that side of it, because tyre wear was something that we noticed might have been an issue partway through the second round of pit stops. We saw a couple of cars up on the jacks. How bad was the tyre wear, and how happy were you with that decision to change tyres when you did?
I expected the tyre wear to be considerably worse than it was. I did a quick stint earlier just to see what it would be at, and it was about 10-15% more than what I actually got to here. I only got to, I think, 79 was the lowest on my front left, and the tyre change on the left sides only lost me about half a second, which I was amazed by. I thought I'd lose way more.
Indeed. Now, last term you were in the Mustang, this term in the Ferrari. Talk me through the decision process, the decision making, the amount of time you spent doing some testing and some trialling of however many cars to come to the decision that Ferrari was going to be the best car of choice, the best vehicle to have at your disposal for the next 10 weeks.
Ferrari was really the only option I had open in the end, because I think I'm basically confirmed to miss a couple races, probably round 3 and maybe round 4, which is a bit unfortunate. So I just needed something comfortable, and it's looking like it'll be our Spa 24 car as well. So I just need something comfortable to come back into, and I've been happy with the Ferrari at the moment. It's just lucky it's got some good pace.
Some scintillating pace, actually. 3 in the top 4, 2 in the top 2. It's actually nice, and you would agree. We've had Mustang heavy, we've had McLaren heavy, we've had Porsche heavy GT3 racing over the last couple of terms. It's nice to see a good spread of different manufacturers out there tonight. I mean, the Chev was going to be there or thereabouts had it not run into some incidents. The McLaren of Luke Lund was keeping you honest through the first stint of the race as well. Looks as though it could be a very competitive season from a manufacturer diversity standpoint, mate.
Oh, for sure. I was actually really happy to see that we had a lot of diversity going on. It wasn't just one car series. Seeing the top 4, all different manufacturers in quality as well, and running in the race for a while was really cool. I'm just in general really happy to see the competitiveness of GT3 at the moment with GSRC. It was cool, but a bit of a struggle to hear that the Pro-Am split was full and having some small connection issues throughout the race. I'm happy I'm not in there with that, because that would have been a bit tragic. But yeah, it was just in general really cool to see the whole diversity. It's awesome.
I take it your correspondence was coming from one T. Weggett?
Yes, of course. And we had, I think it was probably six-ish of us in the call at once, all talking.
I was going to say, things are looking good for the Wild Ride Motorsport stable, mate. This is a great feather in their cap to have a winner in victory lane in round 1 of GT3 Pro. My question to you is, okay, there's going to be 2 rounds that you've already highlighted as potential DNS, which means you've got nothing to fall back on. You've got to then make every poster winner where you can when you're in-house, when you're in the cockpit ready to rock and roll. What do you make of the calendar? What do you make of your chances? Can you go on with this and convert it into a championship result?
Oh, I'm really hoping I can. I want to try and compete in those rounds I highlighted earlier, the 3 and 4. It's just going to come down to whether or not I have enough time to even get even like a little bit of practice in. Haven't driven Adelaide before, would really love to, and VAR has never really been my strongest, but don't mind the track. And I have heard early reports that it's going to be some ridiculous temperatures once again, about 50 degrees. But I do hope to maximise every race I'm at. If I do end up missing a couple, is what it is, but this is exactly what I need to start the season.
Again, I crunched some numbers earlier in the day. We put the post out on social media. When we look at this GT3 calendar, ladies and gentlemen, and I might get Adam to bring it back up on the screen for your benefit at this particular point in time. 3 stops in the USA, 2 stops in Australia, 4 continents, 7 countries. The sprint rounds are rounds 4, 5, 7 and 9. The Red Bull Ring, the Indianapolis Road Course. That'll be interesting for sprint racing. Hockenheim always dishes up good sprint racing. Adelaide, we expect nothing but fireworks there. Spa, a case of very much sim racing Spa overload by the end of this time next week. Thank Christ it's only 60 minutes instead of 90. VIR, always one of those ones that will be hit or miss in terms of general member participation. The Circuit de la Sarthe, again, it's 90 minutes just as it was last term. Suzuka, interesting to have that in there as a 60-minute race. Could be a bit of a grind, that one. And, of course, the Red Bull Ring always dishes up good sprint racing. Mount Panorama, the signature stop on the tour for an enduro at the end of the campaign. Good to have it back in the rightful grand final spot. It's an interesting calendar. I'm amused, though, and bemused at the same time, if it can be. Everyone in the sim racing universe, from an Australian standpoint at least, raced out, right, and purchased Adelaide the day it dropped, the day it was released. I'm astonished that you haven't actually turned a lap there yet. Any reason why?
It was my plan to actually get it as soon as it came out, but it just never came to fruition. I think that was during my rather lengthy period of really only doing big events and not doing much of the general series in iRacing. So it just never really came around, but I am really looking forward to trying to make it to that race, and I hope I do.
Yep. Egan Racing. Again, I don't exactly know who the handle belongs to there. If you can let us know, that'd be great. But I echo the comment. I agree with the sentiment. Hey, talk us through where else we might see you pop up and have a steer throughout the rest of the week, mate. I mean, GT3 is your specialty at the moment, but is there anything else that entices you, if time permits, to come and have a play or not?
I would love to try and run the 3.5s, honestly, before the GTs, but I'm not sure how often I'll be able to do that. And otherwise it might be a few special Formula Vs, and I want to try and get P-Cups in. I planned to last season along with Supercars, but just never really came around, didn't quite have the time, but I'm hoping to try and squeeze some in this time around.
Sean needs all the help, all the teammate support morally that he can get in Formula V, so we'd love to see you there on a Thursday night.
Yeah, of course. I'd love to make it. I know he needs the help, but just pick up the speed a little bit.
Hey, is there anyone you'd like to thank before I let you go, mate?
Oh, of course. It's a big thank you to Thorn and just WRM in general. The vibes and the team and just everyone is awesome. Thorn does a lot for us and really puts in ridiculous amounts of effort. He gets good payoff, not always in results, but you know, it comes, and it's just the flow of how sim racing works in general. But he genuinely does so much around the community, not just for our team, like everywhere. And also a big thank you to my parents. I heard them, they were watching. I heard a big clap once I crossed the line. That was very cool to hear, and I'm going to go have a little chat to them after.
All right, mate, we won't hold you up from doing that. Well done. I think, to be honest with you, I don't have too many more questions to ask you. I guess the only thing I can ask you that I haven't, I mean, we look at that. I don't know if I asked you what what takes your fancy with regards to the calendar is concerned? I know you said that you hadn't run Adelaide yet, but and VIR, but anything else in there that is of interest to you from that calendar standpoint or not?
Oh, I'm really looking forward to Bathurst, that's for sure. Having the Enduro at the end of the season there, I will be doing that. I've been doing Bathurst all throughout the last week when it's been the GT series. Had great successes, been killed a couple of times, but that's how it goes in the races. Also tried to do a 3-hour, which I made into a 1-minute race after qualifying second, so that was great. But in general, I'm really looking forward to the Bathurst race. I think Spa will be fun after 24. Might have a few sore bums in the race. But yeah, it's just learning Hockenheim and Suzuka as well, don't have, so looking forward to learning those.
All right, mate, very nicely done. 2 weeks is a long time in sim racing and a short time at the same time, if that makes sense. I mean, there's been obviously a lot going on externally to the platforms of the GSRC, but it's been nice to obviously have a break from regular competition. What a way to bounce out of the starting blocks to get the new campaign underway, mate. Hopefully that bodes well for a good season for you and the Wild Ride Motorsport stable, mate. Thanks for that. Well done again, and we look forward to seeing you later in the week. If not, this time next Monday night. Go well.
Awesome, thank you guys.
I don't know why you're getting any heat in the comment section there, Thorn, but I like the fact that you're going into bat for yourself. I'll get to you shortly when you're done doing that. I want to go to Jacob McIntyre in the meantime. Let's have a look at some of the other results, if we can, Adam Lavis, with regards to the other two splits tonight, Am and Pro-Am. Wherever you want to start, you just let me know.
This is Pro-Am.
This is Pro-Am. So there are the results for you. Damien McBay ahead of Timothy Miles, Eric Fenton, Brad Coates, Robert Ruard, then Michael Angus, Scott O'Keefe, Willie Blair, Mitchell Vandervan, and Anthony Cuthbertson, the top 10 in all of that. Oh, that was quali. Sorry, my apologies. Sorry, I'm not even reading the top of the screen at the moment. I'm looking at the timing screen to try and get some context. So that was the quali results for Damien on top there. Look at the margins, though. Can we just go back to that quality screen? Have a look at that. Top 5 by less than a tenth of a second.
Top 11.
Jesus.
Top 11 still within 4.5 tenths.
Ridiculous. And Sean Benetti only just on the outer of that. Righto, let's go and have a look. Race results. You saw it there a moment ago. Tim Miles on top there tonight from Damien McBay. Willie Blair in for third. Joel Farley, Michael Angus, Paul Wood, Mac Cherry. Good to see Michael Angus back on the platforms of the GSRC. I mentioned that earlier, him and David Kirby, the Fishy Motorsport stable. Kirby quite enjoyed my inadvertent reference to Fishy Motorsport in a social media post during the break. I'll say more about that when I'm allowed to legally. Because if you've been across what's going on in northeastern Victoria at the moment, you'll know exactly why I use the term fishy. Paul Wood in for 6, Mac Cherry, David Riddell, and Jacob Miller and Thornweg at the top 10. So Thorn's got himself a top 10 result. That's why he's here to toot the horn and play the trumpet. Excellent. I like it. Well done. 50 seconds off the leader. Timmy Miles getting the job done there. Yes, Adam.
And while we're here, we'll have a look at Am and Friends.
Yes. In fact, when we're done here, let's go and have another look back at Pro-Am just to see how many actually got to the checkered flag at a field of 60. Travis has a party on pole position in Am, ahead of Scott Smith, Joe Hargraves, Joel Janssens, Alan McDonald, Brett Bradbury, Liam O'Connor, Colin Bennett, Mitchell Buckman, and Todd Suter, the top 10 there. Very nicely done. Suter, of course, very prominent in proceedings last term. There's the explanation. See, I was scrolling through my list to try and find Jacob McIntyre. That's where he was, ladies and gentlemen, in the Am split. Trav, half a minute up the road. McIntyre, Buckman, then Suter, Gerard, Jansen, Smith, Rollo, Hargraves, and Davis, the top 10 in all of that. They got 34 laps in as well. I'm interested. 16th on the grid for Jacob, up 14 spots. How many started in this one, please, Adam? Can we scroll down? All the way. Wait, here we go. 29 started. 28. Sorry. Yeah, well, actually, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that Nigel started. So 28 started. and the better part of 26 cars finished.
I guess as Nigel hasn't started because he's done no laps and also got no incidents, so that's usually a sign of a DNS.
Indeed. What about the Pro-Am split, mate? How many finished there out of the 60 that started? Have a look at this for a field, ladies and gentlemen. Have a look at this. Packed to the brim, and then some. It was full and overflowing. You couldn't get in. We only had 56 start, so there'll be 4 people at least, a little bit annoyed at the fact that there were some stragglers there that didn't actually take their position on the grid. Luthwaite Lawrence, actually, were there 2 Lawrences for the price of 1 there? I think there were, yep, James and Stefan, and Rick Cowling Fitzgerald as well. But I'm reliably informed, Thorn, that it was fairly hairy out there with 56, so 60 would have only compounded the problem just a little bit further. Hello, Thorn, are you with me?
Oh, there we go. Sorry, I was.
There we go. No.
Mate, that race was.
Actually, Sean Benici, these guys are already chiming in here. I think Kurt Nommensen said put Watkins Glen in the bin, and Sean Benici has just said what a shocker of a PA start as well, and he said you had to do a lot of scrolling and find me.
Well, I've seen some chats in the thing. Apparently, there was a massive bus stop blunder in the Pro-Am split.
I was running and zigzagging for my life. I'd come off the throttle. There's like one car there. I was like, I didn't know what to do. It was a maze. They created an obstacle course out of the straight into the bus stop. It was insane. Getting 4 X's with 1 second in front, 1 second behind. It was a first lap for the ages.
Oh, fantastic! Stay with me, mate. Coming back to you very shortly. Bondi, you stay there as well because it's school holidays, so you don't have necessarily a bedtime to adhere to. So I'm going to keep hold of you for a moment. I want to go to Jacob McIntyre because I want to come back and pick apart that Pro-Am race, and I'll do it with Thorn in a few moments' time. But well done to you, Jacob, on the AM podium, mate. Nice drive, well done. Just unable to catch up with Mr. Azzopardi, old race control himself, who was in a different postcode.
Yeah, it was very quick today.
Talk us through it from your standpoint, though, mate. I mean, obviously, nice to see a solid-sized grid. We know part of the reason for that, a bit of overflow from Pro-Am going into AM just for tonight while Adam crunches some numbers and realigns everything so as to accommodate everybody appropriately. But great to see such strong interest in GT3 at the start of the season, and you must be very pleased with the fact that you were able to move up. I think it was 14 spots in the end.
Yeah, I don't think the pace was quite there. I had Mitchell and Todd quite close behind me towards the end of that race. I genuinely think I won that in the pits. I decided to pit early for the second stint. And I knew the car would be lighter. I had trust in the tyres, even though the track was really hot. I felt really good.
Have a look at Slady having a little moan and groan about the fact that the setup was junk. It was nice to actually see an Aston out there, mate. Better even more so to see you out there, and some promising pace once you can get the setup spot on and get hold of get a grip of the Aston Martin. It's a bit different to the old supercar game, but great to see you out there. And Sean Benici talking about having dislocated a thumb out there on the racetrack whilst he was in the process of being battered and bruised like a pinata, Adam.
Yeah, I'd say he's probably got a direct drive wheel and it's ripped out of his hand and taken his thumb with it, so that's always painful.
Yep. You would have been on the tow rope. There would have been a few people that would have just parked up and conceded defeat after that. So we hope that Sean's... we feel a little bit sore and sorry tonight, but that's what good meds are for, mate. Hopefully we'll see you back out on track on Thursday for the Porsche double header. Continuing with you, Jacob, the one thing I don't have in that rundown of results there, mate, is a manufacturer breakdown. So what'd you go with and why?
I went with the Lamborghini. I kind of just thought I was with the Mercedes last season, and I don't know if it's because I was because I'm slow. I don't know. I was in Pro-Am and I was fighting with the back of the pack. So I decided to make the switch to the Lamborghini after my coach said it would probably be a good idea to switch manufacturers. So that's what I did. I decided that the Lamborghini was solid. We're going to be running it in the Spa 24. It just feels amazing. And yeah, I went and tested all the different circuits on the current calendar, and this car just feels great.
So it's interesting, right? Because we've sent a little bit more love for the Lambo in the past, but broadly, it doesn't get a lot of love universally in GT3 land. Are you hoping that you can change everybody's perspective and view on it over the course of the next 10 weeks? And are you hoping to be able to compete for a championship as Mitchell van der Ven did last term in the Lambo?
I'm really hoping for it. I don't know. It depends what they want to do. If they want to put me in Pro-Am, I'd rather not. Look, we saw where I qualified. My outright pace isn't there, but I believe my racecraft is. So, yeah, it just depends what they want to do.
Don't worry, I think you're safe at the moment. I don't think there's any room in Pro-Am. There's no room. I think you're good for the moment. Although that being said, we'll see what Adam Lavis has to say about all that once he's done crunching the numbers for everybody later on tonight. I do not envy him. He's already admitted it's not a tonight job, it's a Wednesday job when he's actually got time to sit there and sort through it all. But it's a good sign of the interest in GT3. What do you put that down to? Can I ask him more broadly, what do you put down the interest in GT3? Is it because it's universally known and loved? Is it the fact that we've been away for 2 weeks and everybody's just keen to get in and have a steer and reacquaint themselves with the sim rig and their fellow club members? Is it something else? Because for whatever reason, we've had a problem tonight that we haven't had in a very long time, and that is that the house was full. The full house sign was up, and we had to find ways to get people out there on the racetrack outside of the usual, which is if you're new or returning to the server, you go straight into Pro-Am and then get reallocated from there.
I mean, well, two things. The first thing, I believe that, GT3 is kind of the meta race in iRacing. I believe that's what in general a lot of people will drive. And two, I think it's probably a really good problem to have as a racing league is to have, one of your main leagues completely overfull.
Do you reckon that there might be a little bit of a drop off after Spa? It might seem weird, right, to use this as a training ground for Spa, but it's more about seat time in the car rather than the circuit, right?
Oh yeah, I completely agree. Look, there are some circuits on this calendar, I'm just pulling it up real quick, that might cop some dip. Watkins Glen is always a favourite. Spa's a favourite. Adelaide's going to be really, really interesting. I'm really looking forward to Adelaide. I mean, people just did the 24 Le Mans. There might be a sufficient gap for that. Indy's interesting. I reckon, yeah, it might be the same deal for the Bathurst 90-minute, I reckon. You might have the same problem.
Good problem to have at the end of the term, having people rock up and have a steer around there for 90 minutes. And of course, it'll be getting to that right time of the year for people to be coming in and having a steer around Bathurst and getting themselves acquainted with that circuit. So, plenty to be excited about. From your standpoint, obviously a good result, hopefully a platform to build upon. Are you committed to the whole campaign?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Myself and my coach are working really closely to get, some really good results this season. We started off the tail end of last season. I joined in halfway through, just to kind of get a feel for the league, get a feel for the racing. I do have to say, this is probably the best racing I've had in my iRacing career is in this league.
Can we just clip that and have that on the record to play just randomly in broadcast at any given time for the rest of the season, Adam, just so that we can get people to give it the thumbs up treatment. That'll start a conversation. There'll be people that will agree and disagree with that, and I like that sort of stuff. But we love those sorts of endorsements because after 26 seasons, it's nice to know that we must be doing something right. Give us your take on the calendar, mate. I mean, we've already talked about it from a broad standpoint of who might turn up and where the dips and rises in participation numbers might be. But from your standpoint, is there anything there that you don't like?
Look, I'm not very good at Hockenheim, so I'm a little bit scared of that one. And I haven't done Red Bull Ring in a sports car. I've only ever done it in the Formula One cars. So Look, it's going to be fun. Apparently, Indy's pretty interesting, to say the least. But look, honestly, it looks like a very solid calendar. So I'm actually looking forward to every single race, except for Hockenheim kind of scares me a bit more.
And it is our only German stop on the tour in this calendar, at least. We do see Oschersleben and the Nürburgring pop up in other schedules throughout the course of the campaign. But yes, I guess the other thing that works well for us there is that it is sprint racing, because it does lend itself better as a sprint circuit than it does as an elongated enduro. We've seen that before. Really exciting schedule. Really exciting to see how you and the Lambo go throughout the course of the season. But I want to pick on one more element of what you were talking about there earlier, because it's not something that we explore a hell of a lot in detail. You mentioned that you've got yourself a coach. Obviously, that's working for you. It's a relationship that is yielding the results and the improvement that you would have been hoping it would. But it's not for everyone. But obviously, you've got to do what works for you, right? Talk us through how that came about and just how much work goes in between how much correlation, how much communication you guys have. Is it an internal, away from race server thing, or have you got him in your ear during racing competition as well?
Well, look, I'd love to have him in my ear during competition, but unfortunately just times don't really work out that well. No, it's committed 1 to 2 times a week. We'll do an hour or 2 hour session depending on what track and everything. We'll go through the track. We'll look at like where the best turn spots. And after he feels like my pace is at, a level. Unfortunately, we weren't able to practice the Glen because the calendar came out after the coaching session had already taken place for that week. So I did this one blind.
Well,
it was
maybe that is. There's a couple of things that I'm thinking of with regards to what you just said there. Maybe that's a sign that the coaching's working. The fact that you are able to go in and bag a result without as much preparation based on the circuit as what you otherwise might have liked.
Yeah, he's great. He's taught me a lot of the fundamentals of racing. Things, you jump into the sim for the first time, you don't really, unless you've been brought up with it, you don't really know, like the rules and everything of racing. So being able to learn the fundamentals and keep practicing the fundamentals, hopefully one day I'll be in pro. That's his goal for me, is to be in pro, battling with him. I'm just looking forward to it. I've learned a lot through it. I used to be really, really, really slow, probably in the 900 to 800 I rating. Now my I rating I don't really care about as much because I just do league races mainly. But yeah, it's worth its weight in gold, I reckon.
All right, very nicely done. I don't think there's much more to pick your brain about at this particular point, aside from whether or not we're going to see you pop up and have a steer in any of our other offerings, or whether you're just going to be a GT3 specialist.
No, I plan on doing the V8 supercars. I did the Formula 3.5 just before this one.
How'd you find that, by the way?
Yeah, it was great. So funny story, real quick. I had a brilliant start off the line. I didn't qualify very well because I'm not super well versed in that car. And then my teammate torpedoed me straight off the line.
Oh no!
So that was great fun.
We saw that. I didn't have any context as to who was who in that early in the piece because there was a lot going on. But yeah, okay, that would have been rather unfortunate. The fact that it was teammate or teammate 3 seconds into the race. Mates for a long 30 minutes when that happens. But one more thing, since you've led me down that path, we'll get back to the rest of the week and obviously the supercars in a moment. But there aren't a hell of a lot of people that jump straight out of the 3.5 and then into the GT3. So, firstly, what were your impressions of the 3.5 as a race car? And secondly, how did you find that juggle of jumping straight out of one that's a completely different discipline, open wheeler, into a tin top?
I think the biggest difference is the braking. That's the hardest thing to adjust as soon as you get into it. Maybe that's why my qualifying time was really bad, because you end up braking really, really late, and then you're just chock full of ABS, and there goes your qualifying time. But as for a race car for the 3.5, it's quite nice. I'm not very good at open wheelers and the downforce. But so far, I think it breeds, an interesting level, because not everyone is. It's not like it's a SFL or, Formula 4, Formula 3, where everyone races it every single week. Like these cars are, I believe, they're discontinued, or they don't have officials anymore.
I think that's right. Yeah.
So it breeds a very interesting racing dynamic, and it's really good.
As Adam Lavis quite rightly highlighted, such is the lack of presence of the car in the real world now. It doesn't come with the halo. It's a step back to the past, going racing in an open wheel without that driver protection, obviously, equipped. So, yeah, it's a bit of a blast from the past. It's a challenge that we're looking forward to seeing you guys conquer over the course of the next 10 weeks. Righto, so you mentioned supercars. We're obviously looking forward to that Wednesday night Sandown. What else?
I'd love to do the Porsche Cup more. Just depends. My missus is pregnant, so I've got to try and juggle high racing and and that. So as much as I can do without getting murdered, that'd be nice.
Yep, understand that comment wholeheartedly, and priorities, right? It's good to have some downtime. Steph Lawrence has obviously had some downtime. Last time we caught up with him, he and his partner were also expecting bub number 1, and he was a bit worried about how that change in their lifestyle might impede on his ability to come racing from time to time. But no, he enjoyed some downtime. He was out there in action tonight. I'm sure you'll find a way to delicately and successfully juggle everything that's coming up in your world. Is due date somewhere in this term or a little bit later along?
A little bit later along. It'll be I believe it'll be at the start of the next season. So that'll be interesting.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good time of year too.
Yeah. Oh wait, sorry, November. So halfway through next season. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, in that case, then you enjoy your sim racing this term while it lasts. Make the absolute most of this term. And no, we hope everything goes very well there for you, mate, and for the bride as well. Well done tonight. Great result, great start of the season. Hopefully it bodes well for things to come. Is there anyone you'd like to thank before I let you go?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank. I have 2 different teams that I run for, depending on the championship I'm fighting for.
Yep.
So for Formula Renault, P Cup, and V8 Supercars, I'm fighting for Sim Racing Brotherhood, and for the GT3s, I'm fighting for Dark Wing Racing. So yeah, no, I've put myself in a bit of an interesting position here, and both teams have allowed me to do this, so I'm very thankful.
There are a couple of members in our club that have the same problem. They do the same juggles, so they're familiar with exactly what you're saying right now. Matt Schmidtke being one of those. He's in whiskey business one night of the week, and then with the Aussie Races stable every other night. I think Jeff Adams is sublet between Subpar and whiskey as well, and I'm sure there's a couple of others that I've missed along the way. So it's not as much of an anomaly as you might think. Well done, mate. Congratulations. Great start of the season. Thanks for stopping on by to have a chat with us. Go well.
No worries. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
More than welcome. Great to actually have some new voices and some new people in here having a chat with us on a Monday night. If you're just joining us, round 1. Night 1 of week 1 of term 3 for 2026. Done and dusted. We had the Formula Renault 3.5 and Aidan Luthwaite tearing at the shreds there. MotorLand Aragon. And here we've watched an enormous amount of competitors take part in Waste Options GT3 from Watkins, Glen in upstate New York. Harrison Dembrinker, the winner of the Pro Split. You've just heard from Jacob McIntyre from the AM Split. We're about to hear again from Thorn Weggett because you've nabbed the top 10 in amongst all sorts of carnage and chaos, which when you're in the mid pack, right, you fully expect that, especially at Watkins Glen. You must have been relieved to get through to a point where the field had spread out, things had settled down, and you could actually breathe a little bit easier again, mate. Talk us through the race from your standpoint and what a top 10 result means for you, because it's about time you had some good luck.
I agree with you, Zach. I agree with you 100%. I thought I'd jump in here for the first time because it might be the only time this season. Who knows? But yeah, no, started P30, P31, so smack bang in the middle. The whole idea of this race was, in that position, was just to get to the end of the first lap, hopefully with no damage. And that turned out to be a little harder than I thought it was going to be, which is pretty bad because I had some hardcore expectations of what that first lap was going to be like, and it exceeded all of them. But yeah, like got through the first corner, which was actually rather pleasant. Then it all unfolded after turns 2 and 3, going into the bus stop. We had cars spinning left and right. My spotter couldn't even keep up with how many incidents were happening in front and behind me. I didn't know what was going on. So yeah, got through the first lap, hit the damage check-in and had no damage. Car looks clean, and I was like, sweet, let's just hunker in and see if I can keep these tyres alive.
Tyre wear, I think it was Harry that said earlier, he was a little bit surprised at how little tyre wear played a role. He was expecting it to be a bit more prominent a factor. Were you surprised by the tyre wear factor as well, mate? And at what point did you switch? Was it the first stop or the second stop?
So yeah, I was surprised. The Ferrari is very good on tyres. Already knew that going in. That's why I picked it.
Yep.
I did a bit of testing in some of the front engine stuff, which is what I'm used to. But it was just too much to deal with. So I went with the Ferrari. It was really good. I took tyres on the first stop. Just took the left sides, and even though I've now realised when you get to 110, you get a nice little red box instead of the blacked out text. They still gripped. Last couple of laps, I was really closing up on the pack in front of me, P9 and P8, and I reckon if I had one more, I probably would have got them. But yeah, the tyres were good. It was a lot better than I expected.
So here's the next question, right? We're looking at the Ferrari dominance. We know that they were really good tonight. We've seen a little bit of a resurgence from the old prancing horse over the last couple of weeks of last term and also the start of this term, mate. My question is, just because it's better on tyres, is it still going to be the best car overall across the remaining 9 rounds of this season? Because as we know, GT3 is such an open playing field, right? In the sense that you've got 11 different manufacturers, they've all got their strengths and weaknesses. Is this car going to be the best across the 10 circuits, or are there a couple where you may struggle?
I think I'll struggle at a couple. I think the Ferrari's good in the right hands. Am I the right hands? I don't know. But it's very stable. It's a very stable platform. So tracks like Hockenheim, I'm a bit worried about with a lot of the slower speed stuff, trying to get it pointing in the right direction all the time. Just get the turning, because it can be very heavy. But look, I think if somebody can keep Mustang in check, they'll be the best overall over a whole season. But the GT3's bop right now is actually quite good. They did the Porsche kind of dirty. But outside of that, every other car I think is going to have its moment in the spotlight this season with the track selection we've got. But yeah, I think the Ferrari is the best overall for me, and that's why I picked it, because you're only as fast as you can go in the car you're in. It doesn't matter about the meta, especially for guys like me in Pro-Am.
I'm not worried about potential tap on the shoulder and a promotion up into Pro at any point, Thorn?
No, I think I'll be pretty good. I think I'll either be stuck in Pro-Am or they'll move me down to Am to make some room. Just depends on what they do with the influx of drivers we've had. It's kind of crazy.
It is crazy, but as I said earlier, for the club, it's a really good problem to have, because it means memberships, it means people are still invested, it means people still want to be a part of it. It means that there's more reason to keep this baby going whilst we're on to something really good. Just jumping in there to let you know, the Boomers very easily accounted for the Philippines tonight. I think it was, the scores disappeared off the screen. I think it was 92-49, the Boomers over the Philippines in their World Cup qualifier. They, of course, accounted for Guam the other night as well, as they rightly should. Of course, they're not the basketball powerhouses of the United States, etc. Tomorrow night, the women take on China, the first two matches there, and you'll see that on ESPN and also on 9Go, 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. So we will be on air on Thursday night when they play against China at the same time as well. Sticking with you, Mr. Wiggett, are you going to try for a bit more luck, a bit better showing, a bit better result, a bit more consistency, etc., in Formula V, or are you going to focus your energy and attention elsewhere?
No, I'm back in the V's.
Good.
Yeah, I want to make sure that stays around for another 2 or 3 terms consecutively, and also I have a reputation to uphold. I'm a acrobatic champion of the V's, hands down. Absolutely.
I cannot wait for Formula V to launch back on the platforms of the GSRC. Boydo's back, you're back. Chapo will be out to seek redemption. There's so much to like about the new term of Formula V coming up on the platforms of the GSRC starting this Thursday night. Again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Same Thursday night lineup as what we had last term. Where else are we going to see you pop up and have a steer, please, mate?
I'm going to be a bit everywhere this season. GT3s and FVs will be my mains. Going to try and make sure I make all the rounds for that. I'm probably going to give the V8s a go once or twice this season at some of the more familiar tracks and some of the easier tracks for me to get them around. Just something new. And I'm going to try and make the 3.5s as much as I can as well. I was going to get on tonight, but I just got home late from work, so didn't have the time to prep for that one. But yeah, so I'm going to be a bit everywhere this season. I'm also doing some RC work for the M2s and the GT1s, so I'll abstain from that one for at least a season, and we'll see how we go.
Very nice. Now, actually, cannot wait to get your insight and get your thoughts on how things look and how things sit from the race control standpoint, because I know a few of our club members have done both. They've raced and adjudicated. You probably get a newfound appreciation for that sort of stuff once you go and do it, but at the same time, there's probably going to be a couple of nights where you're in that chair and you're going to be getting itchy feet, wishing you were out on the track in the field of battle, because the action's so good and it's entertaining and it's keeping you on the edge of your seat. So are you ready for those moments in which the feet are going to be a little bit itchy, but you can't actually go and join in the fun?
Oh, 100%. 100%. I always love racing, especially in things I haven't tried before. The GT1s are new to me still. Haven't had a chance yet. They sound mean, and I love the sound of them. But the club needs some help, and I'm happy to get in there and do that as well. I want to see a different side of it, so it'll be good. I reckon there's going to be a couple of nights that I want to race simply because I don't want to be the bad guy, but it is what it is, you know?
Someone's got to be.
Exactly, mate. Exactly.
I've often said it's a bit of a thankless job, but at the end of the day, as you say, the club needs someone to step up and willingly accept the role of being the bad guy, so to speak. But it allows these guys to go out there and compete as though they're competing in the real world, because they know that it's not no holds barred. There is going to be an adjudication system to uphold and adhere to. So all in the name of keeping things fair and credible, and obviously as close to realistic as we can possibly hope for. How was the break, mate? 2 weeks it comes and goes very quickly. How did Thorne spend it?
I spent it just getting my team sorted out. We had a lot of special events that have been, and a couple more coming up with Spa 24, Road America 6 Hour. So just a lot of getting teams prepped for that. I do a lot of the admin work for our team as well. So most of it was just it was racing or racing adjacent. So all year round for me, I keep myself pretty busy. But it was nice to get in the chair and do some laps and have some fun racing.
Quick update for you whilst we're with Thorn Wiggett and Bondi still to come. 3-all on serve, first set. Caboli and Demonor at the championships at the All England Club. They're on court 1 at Wimbledon tonight. We'll go around the grounds with the other 2 scores that are coming in a little bit later on, but I just wanted to keep you across the Demonor because when I put it out on socials earlier in the day, we put that post out letting everybody know the calendar, when the GT3 splits, which splits are going to be on broadcast, which night, etc., the schedule for this week. I also mentioned on my personal page that if you want to watch the tennis, you can, because our racing will be wrapped up by the time that starts. I knew the post-race show would still be going, though, because let's be honest, I get paid to talk and I don't mind having a chat. But yes, 3-all, Demonor and Caboli on serve first set. And Demon with the serve right now in the 7th game of that first set. New balls, please, at the end of that. And, of course, you can watch it on Nine's Wide World of Sports. Thorn, whilst we got you... And Bondi's actually putting some feelers out to see if he can recruit some troops for Spa this weekend. I'll ask him how he's going with regards to that a little bit later on. Where do you sit with regards to events away from the GSRC, mate? Are you preparing for Spa this weekend? And how's that all going? And by the time we get there next Monday night, will everyone be sick of Spa, or will they be happy to go around and have an extra hour of joyride fun?
I'm already sick of Spa, if I'm being honest, but
fair.
It's not my favourite track.
And in my defence, the people voted for it and have it on the roster.
I was telling you about that, Adam. Yes, don't worry. Yeah,
I don't blame you at all. But no, so Spa 24, I didn't get to do it last year, so I am excited to do it. I wish that it was a 24 at a different track and it was still called a special event, but can't complain about everything, can I? It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, you can, but I do that enough already. I better not do that where everyone can hear me. But yeah, so Spa 24 is probably my biggest one. Yeah, look, once we finish there, I'm just glad I don't have to do another Spa practice for at least 6 months. I'm probably after that 1 hour race on Monday night, I'll put it in the bin for a while, like people want to do for Watkins here this afternoon.
Yeah, I think some of those people who want to put Watkins in the bin so quickly after tonight's outing, it's not necessarily, I think, because of the circuit. Everyone likes the circuit. It'll be because they got caught in the cluster of what happened in the early parts of the Pro-Am split, I want to wager. So anyway, it is what it is. Nice to see you in the top 10, mate. Obviously, hopefully, that's a sign of things to come and a bit more progression up through the top 10 to be competitive towards the end of the season. When you look at that calendar, I mean, obviously, we're all sparred out by the end of next Monday night, but what about the other 8 circuits? What about the other 8 rounds and the sprint format? The 2 enduros, of course, we know, Le Mans, Mount Panorama. Is there any particular circuit you're not looking forward to besides Spa?
Look, Hockenheim's probably not my best track. I actually quite enjoy the track. It's just not my best. It doesn't have a lot of a flow to it. Very stop-start towards the middle sector, but that's just a weakness I'll have to work on. And then Adelaide as well, mainly because I hate the first chicane with passion. I hate it with a passion. The rest of the track is actually awesome, love it. But yeah, that closed tyre walls are my worst enemy.
I cannot wait to get the feedback from our supercar cohort on Wednesday night about the fact that they're going to the San Diego Naval Base, the new NASCAR circuit. I cannot wait for the feedback there, because I reckon they'll all have mouth guards in that night, such as the bump and grind of that circuit. It's bumpier than Sebring, some have said, so it'll be interesting to see how we go there. Now, it's a very good schedule, mate, and it's been very good to catch up with you. Well done on the result tonight. Good to see that the Ferraris are making something of a resurgence in GT3 racing. It's very healthy for the formula, for the format, for the category at large, if we've got more than 1 or 2 competitive manufacturers out there, and as we saw tonight, a bit more of an eclectic spread through the top 10, rather than just being a whitewash of Porsche or McLaren or Mustang. Bodes well for the next 10 weeks, mate. I can't wait to see you on Thursday night, hopefully not flipping and flying.
I can make no promises.
No, I know. And it's quite prominent and appropriate you mentioned that, because where do we go on Thursday night in the V's? The Adelaide Street Circuit. So if anything, look for Thorn through the first centre chicane. Go well, mate. Is there anyone you'd like to thank before we let you rock and roll?
I just want to thank the club. I want to thank you guys for doing the broadcast, and my teammates. They always keep the vibe pretty fun, pretty relaxed, pretty chilled, even when we have those moments that are not fun or chilled in racing. It's always good to have those guys to fall back on and pick yourself up and go for the next one. So yeah, just thank you to you guys for making it fun, making it exciting, making it immersive to be a part of, and yeah, my team. That's all I got.
And hopefully not too much shade coming from your teammates in the comment section for the balance of the season either.
I'm not sure if
that's what it's all about.
I'm not sure if you're just watching them, but that's how the first laps for the Motorsport should go.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's definitely not how that went.
Well, that's an interesting sign, ladies and gentlemen, that I'm already getting the wind up, because this is replay number 2 of that race now. We've already been through replay number 1. Replay number 2, but we might go to Bondi. We might get a shot of Bondi's car in a moment here, Adam Lavis, because he was in the thick of it in lap 2, and I want to go to him with regards to that. Thorn, thank you, mate. Well done. We'll see you later in the week.
Thanks, Zach. Have a good one.
Very nicely done. Good to have Thorn Wiggett in here to have a chat post-race. On the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, last came off the rank is Bondi. We're riding on board with him here at the moment. A boy from Gun to Guy. One Porsche Open Cup Championship to his name, a runner-up in Porsche Elite as well. Or podium finish there at least, yes. Second runner-up, who cares? If you're not first, you're last, Bondi. But let's have a look at this, because it was a fairly sketchy, hairy, wild sort of ride, laps 2 and 3. And when you're skating on as thin and ice as you are at the moment, I would have thought there'd be a couple of heart and mouth moments throughout the course of this.
Yeah, well, I think I was about to try telling, because I think I was going to get banned here. And then luckily it was a move number brake crash and then coat crash, everything else. The first one and then the second one was kind of on me, so yeah, I've got to own it, but you know, it's fine. Because the lap before I was probably having the best battle I've ever had in first half 10, and this happened, and it's like, well, only people could always race, so here's what it is.
So which one are you taking blame for in all of that? The first one was netcode, yes?
Yeah, first one netcode, the one with Glen, and it was me.
Yeah.
It was
look, there was not sufficient overlap. That's fair, but there was also nowhere for you to really go, because the door was getting slammed shut and you were riding the Ribble Strip, Bondi.
Yeah, well, you can see it both ways. That isn't really. Hopefully, it's top, because I haven't heard anything about a penalty for that one yet, but I did for the first one, and I wasn't penalised for the first one. So I'm kind of confused with what's going on, but yeah, we'll see.
Don't worry, mate. The tape review will be going on over the next couple of days, and more to the point, least of the problems for the club at the moment, considering that we had a full to overflowing GT3 Pro-Am service. So once they sort that out, then they can go back and dot the I's and cross the T's with the race report sheet. Then everything will be finalised and all of our updated points will be publishable. So we'll get to that in due course. Now, Tim Miles just commenting on the Discord server on the GT3 thread. How the hell am I supposed to sleep after that? Now, I'm having the same problem. It's quite an adrenaline rush. Not just going racing on a Monday night in amongst all of that excitement and drama and just all the action-packed nature of a packed and stacked grid. But it's also just exciting to be back on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. From the commentary standpoint, when we're in here on any given night, it's such an adrenaline rush, calling the action and immersing ourselves in that drama and excitement that you guys are providing for all of us watching on and everyone tuning in at home. it takes a while to come down off the high, so I'll be awake for a few hours yet. I'm eyeing off that 4:30 a.m. start for Spain and Portugal tomorrow morning. That might be about when I get to sleep. Or maybe even USA and Belgium at 9:30, who knows. Hopefully, what is sleep? Bondi, aside from, the obvious, the fact that you're in the naughty corner this week for the Porsches, how was the break, and how much time went into the sim and obviously reacquainting yourself, testing, tuning, etc., getting ready for the new campaign, because you've gone and stuck with the Mustang?
Well, yeah, and that's probably my biggest regret. Many regrets actually have come from this off-season, as you have found out that.
Yes, this is true.
I've used ChatGPT. What's a name for someone from South Australia? The Titanic one. The ChatGPT is one, so I might not use that again. And
yeah, that's fair call. Yep.
None for Victoria, so I'm gonna have to find one. But other than that, I got my new sim gear with the handbrake shifter and the wheel Thursday, so that was probably the best bit of my off season, and that honestly kind of when I started getting back on the sim. Honestly, I spent a lot of time actually getting my new engine set up, which I was meant to test last weekend, and then we pulled the pin on testing, so that's not this weekend, next weekend, so I'm going to be in kart 3 weekends in a row, which I ain't complaining about being out of it for, a month and a half now?
That's fair. That must be happy that you're on school holidays as well.
Oh, it's pretty good. Next week is going to be boring because everyone's going to be at school except for me, but I reckon I'll be able to get some work in somewhere. Spent half my day doing my entire day today working and then getting on the sim, so it was actually a pretty good day. Enjoyed myself, actually.
I won't be at school next week. I'll be working from home, so I might...
we have a podcast to do, remember?
Yes, you want to... I can't believe this, folks. The person that does all the interviewing is about to be interviewed. Bondi wants to chat to me on his new, soon-to-be launched, soon-to-be publishable and listenable in all markets, on all credible outlets. He wants to interview me on his new podcast. So yes, we can do that next week if you want. We'll find some time. I think the diary's clear enough. We'll work it out. And by the way, if you're thinking cold igloo-like references for Victoria, just remember they've got ski fields, right? They've got snow. So find a list of all the snow fields in Victoria, and we'll figure something out. All right? We'll have some fun with wordplay, if you'll pardon the pun. Must have been frustrating for all of that to happen on the second lap, though, mate, because, for a number of different reasons. One, obviously, the scrutiny that's on you at the moment. But more than that, when it's a 1 hour race and you've openly admitted already that you're not happy necessarily with the Mustang selection compared to what's competitive and what's not. B, it makes a rod for your own back for the remaining 32 laps. I guess the only saving grace is that you were able to stay out there, you were able to push on, or you were able to salvage something on a night where 35 of the 36 cars that started will be classified. There were only a couple that didn't meet the requirements of 75% race completion. Very interesting night, but frustrating that all of your best laid out plans went tits up after a lap and a half, considering that you were up 3 or 4 spots by that time.
Yeah, I had an amazing opening lap, and I was somewhat confident with the car. There was probably a minor into turn 7, 8, whatever it is. It was a bit unstable under brakes, but we were able to manage that towards the end with a bit of engineering assistance from Cass. And, well, yeah, it was good. We showed some pace. Sadly, I wish I actually spent more time on the sim in the off-season than I have, because I haven't done any practice, which is hurting me, but hopefully, I think, take Thursday off this week, we'll be able to regroup, spend a lot of time in supercars for Scops ahead of the Enduro season coming up, and win some with the 2 new teams I missed, so looking forward to that. Got to get some improvements in my setup, cars and stuff, which looking forward to that. Would have been nice to have some of that knowledge tonight, which I still haven't gotten yet, so I've got to go talk to some people about that over the next few days, and then yeah, a lot of it's just going to be learning still this season. Might just take the car ignore that and just jump car to car each week. Might go Lambo for Adelaide. I'm thinking we'll see if we can get a bit more time on the sim and what we'll do.
Just make sure you've got a working heater in the car when you get to Adelaide. Anyway, Bondi, with regards to...
In Winton and Sandown. You're going to need one, actually.
Exactly. With regards to what's going on for the rest of the week, sorry, that's my fault. I took us down a very, very bad rabbit hole. Hey, listen, with regards to your comments about... I'm interested in this, right? Not doing enough time in the sim rig over the course of the 2-week break, right? Now, it's all good for me to say, oh, yep, here's an opportunity, beautiful, 2 weeks off, put the feet up, tools down, walk away from the broadcast box, etc., etc. I mean, I still have to do a little bit of work because otherwise that social media post that went out today regarding the upcoming season doesn't happen. And you've got to stay match fit in some way, shape or form. But from a driving standpoint, it's noticeable, isn't it? When, for whatever reason, it's nice to not have to be here 7 days a week, 5 nights a week, whatever the case may be. But at the same time, I think now you've already made a mental note that between term 3 and term 4, you've got to spend some time behind the rig in order to be ready to hit the ground running, because it's no holds barred. It's so cutthroat and competitive here at the moment.
Yeah, well, I was honestly hoping I'd get my new wheel a bit sooner. And it was annoying because usually
Does look nice too.
I usually had a 1 week crossover, so 1 week no school, no GSRC I could practice, whereas I still had school, so I haven't had that week because this is first week of GSRC back this week, which yes, I have all day during the day, but as you've seen today, I've spent most of my time working, and honestly, I put myself behind schedule because I'm like, oh, this will only take me like an hour, and it took like 3 hours, and then I went outside, did stuff. My day was wasted, so I didn't do any time this time, but yeah, it is nice, this new wheel. Enjoying it. I think I was 2/10 quicker in the supercar at Winton now, so big improvement, I'm happy with it. I thought I'd get more out of it tonight, but I think just not having done laps and being in the right car kind of ruined that for me. So I'll see what I do. It's definitely not the wheel. I've got all the gear now. I think that I wouldn't change much else except for get triples, which should be down later in the year with some assistance from a sponsor. So looking forward to that.
And I mean, not that I'm being paid to give C-Bond a plug in any way, shape or form, ladies and gentlemen, but if you're a, company or entity or a sponsor that's wanting to get on board, reach out and get behind the boy from Gundy Guy. I'm pretty sure that's what he was leaning towards, trying to say without saying it directly, ladies and gentlemen, that if he can get a sponsor on board, he'll be able to, speed things up in the progression and upgrade process. And department.
I've got a little discount from a company this year.
Well, there you go.
So
well, that's good.
That.
That is good.
I am looking for sponsors, by the way. So
yes.
Get in contact with me. You'll be able to find some kind of contact. I don't know now. I don't have social media. It's hard now.
It is. Although you'll get that social media back when you've got a birthday coming up soon, don't you? Yeah.
One day.
Next month.
Count down.
Yes. Very nicely done. Cannot wait. So what you're saying is the government are clamping down a bit more on that whole under 16 threshold, are they?
Well, they did that ages ago. It didn't affect me at the start of the year, and it affected me like a month ago. So it's been really annoying. I've got to do something wrong that I can't do any publicity, and it doesn't help when you can't do that.
I wondered why my Instagram had gone quiet. And Snapchat and other things. Oh, actually, no, wait, sorry, no, you asked it. No. Yeah, no, I was going to say,
I know. I wish I got it
funny.
hasn't been too great for me over the last week.
I wouldn't have thought so. Less said about that on air, the better. Hey, you mentioned the supercars. You mentioned the supercars. Are you having a run here on Wednesday night?
Yeah, I think I'll give it a run. Hopefully, depending what my plans are for tomorrow and Wednesday, I'll be able to get some time. So I'll probably use it as a free testing for Scott Enduros. So hopefully, because I'm going to have some weight to pressure to withstand and hold up to for enduros with some exciting news. I don't think I've put it in our Discord yet. Actually, I should do that tonight. But yeah, got some exciting news about that. So hopefully, I should be on the grid for that. Just need to actually get my driving together for that.
And you mentioned trying to get some troops recruited for the Spa 24 this weekend. Any success so far? That's number one. And number two, what car of choice? Because you don't seem too happy with the Mustang at the moment. So do you go back to the drawing board and try and find something that's going to be competitive over the course of the 24 hours? And what do you think that might be?
Well, you guys brought up 24 hours, and I went on Google. I'm like, oh crap, that's this weekend. And then I just realised, I'm like, I'm away racing Saturday. I'm going to need 2 people to manage Saturday for me until I get home. And then I'm going to have to do an all-nighter in Sunday after a full day of karting, 2 days of karting. So, yeah, I don't know how that's going to go. I know I've got 2 teams up with my 2 Synergy Sim Sports and Synergy Sim Racing and WKP Sim Sports. If I could ask if I can get a drive, but I don't know. We'll see how that goes.
You'll be having quadruple shot mockers by the end of the weekend if you try and commit to that. Where's the racing this weekend, please, Wagga?
No, I was meant to go testing there, but we're going to Griffith this weekend to run in. I think it's going to be my 3rd last time in the KA, which is, you know, it's sad, but it's not. I'm looking forward to the next chapter in karting. But yeah, KA this weekend for Brad Jones Challenge. So currently leading that with clean sweep. So hopefully we can keep that momentum going. And you just take as many points as we can, and then yeah, I'll see what Sim Racing does over the weekend for that. And then yeah, I've got X30/tag restricted testing the weekend after at Wagga, and then the weekend after that I'm back to Albury in tag restricted, running in that with the X30. So looking forward to the next couple of weeks in karting.
It's sad until it's not, right? So obviously it's not like you're leaving the sport, but you're leaving a part of it that served you so well and you've been so heavily immersed in and associated with and involved with for so long. We hope that the step up goes well for you. I just want to let everybody know, Cabolli broke serve last part of this match between he and Alex Demonor. So it's 6-5 and he is serving for a 7-5 first set win and a 1 set to love lead in this men's round of 16 match at the championships at Wimbledon. You can continue watching that on Stan Sport and of course 9 everywhere except Western Australia, where actually no, WA viewers about an hour's time WA viewers will be switching over to the championships onto the main channel. They're currently watching Footy Classified on a 2-hour delay. So they're on 9 Gem, everyone else on 9, or Stan Sport of course has it ad break free during play. Bondi, good to catch up with you. It's never dull, it's always entertaining, it's always amusing. Go well. We'll hang around. I'll have a chat with you after the broadcast about the other. We'll sort out a time to make that happen as well. Good on you, mate. Thank you.
Wait, can you just jump into the CBR general one? I've got to play a game with Cass. He's been waiting for an hour, so...
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, okay. Right, yeah. I'll switch channels once I'm done here. All right,
yeah,
done.
Right. Cheers, mate.
Thank you, mate.
All my sponsors, Craig One Racing, Synergy Sim Racing, which is the new team I'm partnering with, WKP Sim Sport, One Motor's Gonna Go, Seth Gonna Go Automotive to Maynard, Gonna Go Tilt Shows, Buco, Riverina Go Kart Centre, Aftershock PC, Simrigs Australia, who else haven't I done? GSRC, Wagga District Kart Club, and Cass for being my engineer for like the last 10 minutes of the race. And I think that's all, and you for the commentary, Zach.
The quote of the night is, who else haven't I done? He's 15, ladies and gentlemen. That's a very long list.
15
Bondi.
and 1 month takeaway a day. What does that equal?
Yes.
10 months.
Thank you.
29 days.
I'll chat to you offline very shortly. Thank you, Bondi.
Okay, thank you, Zach.
What has my life become, by the way, Adam Lavis, when I'm taking instructions and being told what to do by a 15-year-old? Fair income. Excellent stuff. All right. Can we just have another look at that calendar? Because you mentioned earlier that there were a couple of rounds that went to member vote. And I knew this was the case because I had a look at the schedule, maybe last week sometime, or maybe just the weekend before. And there were a couple of TBCs there, and I was going through and dotting the I's, crossing the T's, trying to be a bit more organised. And I was like, well, I'm going to have to come back and check this one again and check that one again. So which were the TBCs, Adam, and how did the votes go, and what were the options? What led us to this calendar and what we have now, please?
As it was rounds 2, 8, and 9.
Right.
Basically, the Spa and Red Bull we had in the same spots basically they're on the calendar last season. So.
Well, yeah, Spa was round 1, wasn't it?
Yeah, and Red Bull was round 9, so it's in the same spot.
Yeah.
Yep. And then there was also whatever was in round 8 was also a repeat race. Le Mans is also a repeat race, but I kind of needed another enduro anyway, so I left it on there. So I gave them the choice to stick with the repeat race or pick one of the alternate tracks. And Suzuka was the only one that sort of got up as a replacement track. So the Spa held its spot against a few other tracks, and Red Bull was the Red Bull one vote was pretty close, but Spa one was pretty unanimous. So.
Yeah, you've answered the other question I had there, was just how close was the vote. So there it is for you, folks. 3 weeks of Pro Split racing to get us underway. Then in week 4, we of course turn our attention to, that'll be your first look at AM and Pro-Am for this term. Week 5, it'll be AM and Pro. Week 6, it'll be the Pro-Am Enduro from the Circuit de la Sarthe. Week 7, I think it's Pro-Am and Pro. And then we get stuck into the Pro Split again, then the AM and Pro-Am splits in the final sprint round of the season, and then the Pro finale from Mount Panorama Bathurst. And I've done all that flying blind because I didn't have the right document in front of me as I was reading all that. So I'm just going back now to cross-reference and make sure that I got all that right. Oh, thank Christ I did. So yes, no, it's going to be good fun. Actually, no, round 4 is Pro-Am and Pro, and round 6 is Am and Pro. So yeah, no, just one change there. It'll be, so you'll see the feature race from the Pro-Am split from round 3. The sprint race from round 4 will be Pro-Am. The feature race from round 9, I should say, will be Pro-Am. The 3 sprint races that will bring you for AM will be from the Adelaide Parklands, the Indianapolis Road Course, and the Red Bull Ring. And the 2 pro races that you'll see in sprint trim will be the features from both Hockenheim and the Indianapolis Road Course. The 4 60-minute races are all from Pro, and as we've said earlier, the 90-minute race from the Circuit de la Sarthe will be Pro-Am, and from Mount Panorama it will be Pro. If for whatever reason we have a significant drop-off and it's going to be in the best interest of the broadcast to go and broadcast something with a bit more life and substance by way of participation to it, then obviously those decisions will be made on the night. But at this stage, that's how it looks, and if you want further clarification, go to the GSRC Facebook page because the calendar is up there in full. Spa, Virginia, VIR, that'll be an interesting one. Then the Adelaide Parklands, Hockenheim, Circuit de la Sarthe, the Indianapolis Road Course. So 3 stops in America and 2 stops in Australia, plus Austria, Japan, France, Germany, and Belgium. So a very eclectic calendar that takes us to 4 different continents throughout the course of the next 10 weeks. Watkins, Glen done. We're off to Spa next week. Just quickly, at this stage, no broadcast for GT1 confirmed, but we're very excited about the rest of the week, Adam. Am I right in assuming, based on what I've seen on my calendar here in front of me, that the Porsches will be 1 split this week, and that could be a good and bad problem to have if the turnout's anything like what we saw in Pro-Am tonight?
Well, that was my plan, was 1 split based on last season, but if the influx is from in here is also going over there, that's going to push us back to 2 splits pretty quick. So hopefully we get away with it. We'll see how it goes on Thursday.
I think we might need to put that one to vote beforehand, just to avoid the collateral and the chaos and the confusion on the night. Maybe, I don't know. I don't envy the likes at this time of the term.
We'll get an idea on Wednesday with the supercars. The supercars have never really been anywhere near filling up the surface, so if they get a bit chock-a-block, something's up.
Well, that's exactly right. I guess the other thing too is Wednesday night. I don't know. We'll see, because there's no obviously V8 Pro Invitational round on Wednesday night, but there's that little thing called the State of Origin decider. That might deter a few people. They might be kicking back with a keg or at least a carton or at least a six-pack in the esky beside them on the lounge watching the Origin decider. Who knows? I think that'll do us for a Monday night. Just repeating, Boomers too good for the Philippines in their Basketball World Cup qualifier. Earlier tonight at Wimbledon, we of course saw a victory for Koscheck over Kruger, 6-4, 6-4. The Buskova-Mertens match is already underway. Mertens has won the first set 6-4. And it's currently 1-1 in the second. Demonors dropped the first set. That breaker serve proved costly. Cabaldi getting the better of him in the first set 7-5 and the second set already on serve at 1-1. They're not mucking around there. They're rapidly racing through that. What is it, 11:05? They've only been out on court for an hour. They're already 2 games into the second set. The other match that will now be underway will be the Jasmine Paolini versus Alexandra Ayala match, which is on centre court, and Paolini's got the early break there. 4-2 in the first set. FIFA World Cup tomorrow morning. What about today, eh? Unbelievable. England over Mexico 3-2, even with a player sent off early in the piece. They've held on with 10. Norway was the surprise 2-1 over to Brazil. Tomorrow morning you will see the matches between Portugal and Spain. That one, of course, will be first up, and that one is from 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then from 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the USA up against Belgium. All that coming up tomorrow from the FIFA World Cup. Disappointing for the Socceroos, but you can't be missing 2 spot kicks. That's just gifting the opposition victory, really. And, of course, all eyes on Origin on Wednesday night as well. Well done to Harrison Den Brinker. Well done to Travis Azzopardi. Well done to all and sundry. What a night we've had here on the platforms of Gentlemen Sim Racing Club. Now, a little bit of housekeeping here. AGM, Sunday, somewhere in the realm of 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for those of you that are planning to attend. As you log in on Sunday afternoon into the Discord server, you'll obviously see where to go. You'll see where everybody's hanging out, and that'll be the open forum there, and all the other little statutory pointers, the ins and outs of what's going to unfold there will be available to you in the lead up, obviously, push to talk, etc, etc. But Sunday AGM 2 p.m. is the main bit of information I had to pass across to you all. We do it, of course, with thanks to Disruptive Labs, Waste Options, Trophy AI, merch.tgsrci.com, and the great people at Flash Graphics. Merch.tgsrci.com is where you go to get your hands on some GSRC merch and paraphernalia. There it is. Plenty of range to choose from there. And never a bad time to go and invest in the merch store on the platforms of the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club to keep the wheels turning here. And, of course, show your support for the club. Give you something to wear when you're cheering on your favourite driver each night of the week that we're on air. And speaking of that, let's have a look at what's coming away as far as the rest of week 1 of Term 3 is concerned. There's plenty to look forward to. There it is, BMW M Sport Cup. With thanks to merch.tgsrci.com. That is Wednesday night from VIR North. I'll get the Tuesday night at the moment, but let's focus on the broadcast stuff firstly. Adam Lapis and I are here on Wednesday night. Make sure you get your sports bar ready. Book your tickets early, ladies and gentlemen, and join in the fun of the fair there, because that'll be well worth the price of admission. Well worth your time investment joining us there, because VIR North throws up some good racing. 40 minutes worth of BMW M Sport Cup racing will be no exception. That, of course, takes the place of the Toyota 86 Challenge that we had last term in the entree slot, the support slot for the supercars. It's a 40-minute race to get us underway. Sandown follows for Super Sprint supercar racing. Now, we had some troubles there last time in the Porsches in the Super Sprint format. Hopefully, no such controversy this time round, and both the Elite and the Dev split live in broadcast Wednesday night from 8:45 Eastern Standard Time. Thursday night, an All-Australian doubleheader and a 4-race program for you. A 60-minute enduro for the Porsches, 8:45 Eastern from Mount Panorama Bathurst, the first and only enduro of the 16-race Porsche Cup campaign, and we're looking forward to that immensely. Join us for that, 8:45. But before it, the main course of Thursday Night Motorsport from the streets of Adelaide, if you don't mind. Formula V ripping and tearing around the Adelaide Parkland circuit. 3 sprint races there, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, and we're looking forward to the return of our favourite on the platforms of the GSRC. Now, tomorrow night is obviously the one night of the week that we're not on air, not broadcast. So this will be the NASCAR trucks and the committee's choice going around for a second campaign, a second term. 2 30-minute races there for the trucks from Charlotte. And the server opens at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We say server opens because every server is different. We don't know exactly the format in any given week, so it's a bit hard to give you an exact race start time. But the server opens at 7 p.m. Adam.
Yeah, I guess being a heat race, the races will probably start around the 10 to 8 mark, because you lose a bit of time with heat racing. So there'll probably be, I would guess, be like a 40-minute practice and a 5 or 10-minute quali. So.
Yeah, copy that. And of course, 30-minute racing too. So that'll come and go very quickly, but it's very rare that you see heat racing on an oval. So that'll be well worth it. That'll be well worth the price of admission. Friday night, let's have a look at this. Have a look at that. Here we go. We're going to spin the wheel on Friday night to determine the car of choice for the Mountain Men, which is back again once more. That's Mount Panorama Bathurst. That's Saturday night. That's 32 laps. That's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Before that, we want you to make a note of this. As much as we'd love to, we just can't spread ourselves too thinly. So part 1 of the Friday night doubleheader is not broadcast at this stage. No broadcast for the GT1 Civil War, the return of the GSRC GT1 series. But they are heading to Sebring in Florida. Their first race of the campaign, 40 minutes of the journey. 7:30 Eastern is when that gets underway. We will endeavour to keep you across the results of that throughout the course of our Friday night motorsport coverage this term as best we can, in the event that we do get the broadcast to any or all of the races at any point. Maybe the finale, who knows. So stay with us, because once we get a chance to start bringing you those results in the post-race show of the IndyCars, we'll keep you up to date with what's going on in that championship. But speaking of the IndyCars, the Disruptive Labs Road to Indy Series returns on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, and it does so on a Friday night from the streets of St. Pete. Yep, the St. Petersburg Grand Prix circuit gets us underway. 7 road course or street circuit stops on the tour, 3 ovals, a GSRC Indy 500 kilometre, the headline act on September 11, but this one gets us underway. The newest circuit dedicated to the IndyCar series, of course, on the iRacing universe, in the iRacing platform, and it will kickstart an enormous campaign of IndyCar racing. A lot of excitement around that already. 55 laps of journey or 65 minutes, whichever comes first. There'll be competition cautions, there'll be pit stops galore, etc., etc. You know the drill. We've done this for a few seasons now. It's not our first rodeo in IndyCar racing. 8:45 Eastern Standard Time. I hope you can join us for that. And then, of course, next week, the new campaign gets underway. Or the new week, I should say, gets underway with the second round of Waste Options, Wings and Slicks and GT3. The former from the Circuit of Barcelona, Catalunya. The latter from Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. 3-race program, 2 sprint races. The first time we'll see sprint racing this season on a Monday night in the Wings and Slicks. And of course, 60 minutes for the Porsche, for the GT3 to complement what we saw tonight at Watkins, Glen in upstate New York. Brilliant stuff, brilliant racing. Really enjoyed that. I'm not even going to ask Adam Lavis if we've got championship points there at the ready, because there's far too much to try and get our head around once he's gone back to the drawing board and reallocated splits and everything else. As we said earlier, that is a Wednesday job for him, which means we may have a chance of updating you on all of that on Wednesday night and what it looks like. We hope you'll join us. We know that Wednesday night's a big night of sport. We hope you'll still find some time to come and say good day to us here on the platforms of Gentleman Sim Racing Club as we bring you our Tin Top Wednesday night motorsport doubleheader. Thanks for your company tonight. Brilliant performance from Harrison Den Brinker. Pushed for a while there, of course, by the likes of the McLaren of Luke Lund and the Chev, which unfortunately ended up not finishing, not saluting the judges and taking the checkered flag of Philip Worley. A great influx of new competitors have arrived armed and ready to fight in Waste Options GT3, and it's going to keep us well and truly entertained and engaged throughout the course of the season. But Den Brinker was brilliant tonight, got the job done. Barrelon was good too, Bo Cubis and Sam Blacklock impressive. But at the end of the day, it was all Harrison Den Brinker and, of course, Aidan Weathwaite clinical, getting the better of Stephen Bull and everybody else in the Formula Renault 3.5 as well at MotorLand Aragon. Hope you enjoyed all of that. It's good to be back, isn't it? Season 26, up and away, and it continues Wednesday night with Super Sprint racing in the supercars from Sandown. How's that for as many S words as you can get into one sentence as possible? On behalf of Adam Lavis and all the broadcast commentary and production team here, about 3 hours and 50 minutes later, we're saying goodbye to you. Wimbledon continues on the 9 Network. Alex Zverev and Jerry Lacheka coming up as soon as Alex Demonor is done. He's trailing a set at the moment, but it's on serve in the second. You can continue watching that on 9's Wild Water Sports. And, of course, the World Cup kicking in first thing tomorrow morning, 4:30 with Spain and Portugal. From all of us here, I'm Zach Caban. Have a great evening, everybody. We'll see you Wednesday night. Until then, it's bye for now.